an impact on his popularity? It did. Just not the way you think. We will get to that. Plus, how bizarre. Weekly look back at the strangest stories of the past 7 days. The president wades into the ongoing debate over daylight saving time, which, once again, ladies and gentlemen, I really don't have a strong opinion on it. It's very rare that you will find your humble hosts open to being persuaded either way. Last time this was in the news, we did have a very spirited debate with callers on both sides trying to sway me to their position on whether we should have permanent daylight saving time, no daylight saving time, or keep things the way they are. That debate likely to happen, I believe, at the top of the 5 o'clock hour. In the 4 o'clock hour, we will, well, let me see. Where's my outline here? We will talk about President Trump's tariffs, get to the daily Trump date, and much, much more. But first, guess how much the UW system had oversight? Guess how much oversight the UW system had over DEI programs in Wisconsin's universities? Zero, according to a hotly anticipated Legislative Audit Bureau audit into DEI programs across the UW system. Neither the Board of Regents nor UW system administration required any UW institutions to even define diversity, equity, inclusion in a particular manner. Instead, each UW institution decided how to create and then implement DEI programs at its school. If you would like to join the Dan O'Donnell Show on this Friday foray into broadcast excellence, or at the very least, and let's face it, probably more likely, broadcast competence, the adventknows.com talk and text line is open. Always is, in fact. 414-799-1130. Reach us toll free, 1-800-838-9476. Email me directly, dod@iheartmedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show as well, where you can watch the show streaming live, Facebook, X, or our YouTube channel. Just go there and search Dan O'Donnell or Dan O'Donnell Show. We are incredibly easy to find. Quite possibly my favorite story of the entire week. Guess who turns out to be nothing more than 2025's Jussie Smollett? None other than the woman who is the new darling of the DNC, a woman I am calling Dollar Tree AOC. We will cover that story in about 15 minutes. Legislative Audit Bureau report, though, shows that no UW institution tracked the amount it spent specifically on diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. This directly from that Legislative Audit Bureau report out this afternoon. The available information indicates that in fiscal year 2023 to 2024, UW institutions spent $40.2 million on offices with job duties pertaining to diversity, equity, and inclusion. An estimated $12.5 million in staffing costs for 170 positions with job duties pertaining to DEI, and an estimated $7.9 million to work on diversity, equity, and inclusion activities. But again, it was very difficult for auditors to determine what exactly a diversity, equity, and inclusion activity was because UW didn't specifically define it. Each individual institution was asked to describe for itself and to define for itself, set its own parameters as to what a DEI officer or DEI employee was, what a DEI activity was. In December of 2023, according to this audit, the Board of Regents approved a resolution that requires UW institutions to take several actions related to diversity, equity, and inclusion. The number of full-time equivalent filled positions subject to the resolution decreased from 123.3 in December of 2023 to 110.9. Now, at this point, you're saying, well, what do you mean? There's 0.9 positions No, it's a full-time equivalent, or FTE, meaning that the hours that somebody works are equivalent to 40 hours per week. However, auditors found that in May 2024, UW institutions had an additional 56.9 FTE filled positions that are not subject to the resolution and that had at least some diversity, equity, and inclusion job duties. What this means is that while the UW Board of Regents said, all right, you're going to reduce the number of full-time equivalent employees on your campus doing DEI things down 13.2 positions or whatever it was, roughly 13, 14 positions, they actually increased by 56.9 full-time equivalent positions, just hiding them a little bit better so that they didn't fall under the DEI umbrella. Now, this Audit Bureau audit comes on the heels of the fact that we now know UW-Madison, at least, was grossly taking advantage of DEI funding that was flying under the UW system radar under the direction of the now demoted, but not ever actually fired or really disciplined in any way, LeVar Charleston. You might remember this almost exactly 1 month ago, bombshell report, March 14th. He was the UW-Madison DEI chief. He and his wife, Sherry Charleston, all accused of plagiarizing pretty much every single element of their curriculum vitae. She is the head of DEI, or at least she was. I'm not sure if she was removed in that shakeup about a year ago that also claimed the head of Harvard, the DEI hire, Claudine Gay. She was plagiarizing pretty much everything. Charleston, too, who also has a criminal record, was not fired. He was simply demoted, even though he engaged in what I called at the time and still maintain is criminal level of misappropriation of federal dollars. There was intense scrutiny, you might remember, on all of the finances in the DEI department in 2023 and 2024. Just 3 days after UW leaders struck that budget deal with legislative leaders that necessitated the reduction in DEI employees, Charleston approved bonuses for 85% of his DEI staffers at UW-Madison. Between December 1st, 2023 and December 1st, 2024, the UW-Madison DEI department had 71 ongoing FTE staff, meaning full-time equivalent staff. During the time period reviewed, that office submitted 72 pay raises, 63 of which exceeded 3% of base salary. 89% of the division's employees got raises. Notably, 34 of the 63 employees who got raises between December 2023 and December 2024, they had previously received an additional performance lump sum increase or bonus within the last year. 8 employees had previously received 2 lump sum awards in the last year after getting this massive raise. It wasn't just paying off top staffers and allies within this department. And remember, we now know UW system had no idea how any of this money was being spent because they had no classification for DEI or for race-based or social justice-based programming, offices, all of this. They allowed institutions like UW-Madison to just sort of police themselves. Well, now that we know that this was a really, really bad idea, we can go back and take a look at what UW was doing, UW-Madison, and say, okay, this is just how bad of an idea it was to allow these universities to simply define for themselves what it was that fell under the umbrella of DEI. And it wasn't just salary, travel. And this is a massive scam up and down higher education. Going to professional development conferences conferences or higher learning confabs or whatever it is that they call them. And the DEI grift is particularly ripe for taking advantage of travel budgets. And wouldn't you know it, LeVar Charleston and UW-Madison's DEI department blew through their travel budget. Professional development, travel, and events totaled $1.7 million in fiscal year 2023 and $2.65 million in 2024. Now, before the pandemic, you can't really compare anything to 2020 and 2021 because, let's face it, there were no education conferences. Even in 2022, do you think they're going to do a whole lot of DEI grift conferences? No, because so many people, especially in academia, are still terrified of COVID-19. But when you compare this to the pre-pandemic total, it's not even close. 2019 fiscal year, $1.16 million. That ballooned to $2.65 million last year. That is an average of $10,955 per employee in fiscal year 2024 that they were just spending on travel and professional development. The single highest average spend among all campus divisions was in this DEI department. The thing that boggled my mind perhaps the most was just how much money they were spending on office furniture. $594,000 for office furniture and supplies. $594,000 in a year. Now, you might remember earlier this week here on the Dan O'Donnell Show, we learned that the federal government was spending several $1 billion on office furniture and on office remodels and all of this, even though during COVID, nobody was in the office. Well, here in the DEI department at UW-Madison, people are back in the office and they apparently need to sit on much comfier chairs than they ever did before. The audit, the investigation into this a month ago noted that this was the second highest spend on office furniture among all divisions at UW-Madison. The highest? The libraries, where the public goes and sits on the chairs and uses the tables. Obviously, you've got to repair those and replace those a lot more often than in the DEI department, where you don't have students and visitors just kind of going and everybody in the public is using your equipment. This is what happens when there's no institutional control at the UW system level, just at one university. I'm willing to wager it is every bit as bad on, say, the UW La Crosse or UW Eau Claire or UWM campuses. Now, all of this happens at a time where, quite frankly, colleges are in a bit of a budget crunch. A lot of this is demographic in nature. My generation, the millennials and the Gen Xers ahead of me, and some of the younger millennials are just not having kids at nearly the rate of the baby boomers who didn't have kids at the rate of their parents, the greatest generation or World War II generation, who came back from the war and apparently had 14 kids each as just a matter of course. The baby boom generation was sort of like 1945 to about 1960 was the era where everyone in America was Catholic, it seemed, or at least they were having kids like the Catholics. Well, that all changed for a variety of reasons. And now, as we're seeing the younger millennials and the Generation Zs, as they're kind of coming into parenthood, and they're the ones who are now the youngest parents, 23, 24, 25, that trend is only going to continue. No kids, one kid, two kids. I have 3 children, and that's average to higher end. It is a rarity to see a family with 4 kids nowadays. It just is. I mean, that would have been considered a small to medium-sized family 45, 50 years ago. Well, what happens when you don't have as many kids? You don't have as many kids growing up and going to college. Yet we still have ever-expanding budgets for state-run institutions. Now, some of the private schools are just deciding that they can no longer go on with fewer and fewer kids with fewer and fewer students paying tuition, they can't raise tuition on the few kids that they have left because, quite simply, nobody is going to be going to a private college where the tuition to go to, say, a Carroll University is $120,000 a year. And that's no insult to Carroll University. I wouldn't send my kid to Harvard for $120,000 a year. Then again, what we've learned about Harvard and its rabid anti-Semitism and race-based everything, I wouldn't send my kid to Harvard if they paid me, for goodness sakes. But whereas private schools have no choice but to either tighten their fiscal belts, raise tuition, get even more desperate in begging for money from wealthy alums, or fold. State schools can simply keep on spending like this, knowing that people like you and I, taxpayers of the state of Wisconsin, are going to continue to pay for this. It is beyond insulting that the same UW system that is saying, well, we need to continue to have a lot more state money dumped into the coffers here because we need to have the greatest research institution. What are we researching? How to waste $500,000 a year on office furniture for 71 full-time equivalent positions in one university's DEI department? And then to find out today through this audit, thank heavens for the Republican legislators who called for it, we have no earthly idea what even constitutes a DEI position. On Valentine's Day, the Trump Education Department sent a Dear Colleague letter saying, look, we are no longer going to provide federal funds to any institution that has DEI program or any race-based admissions criteria, anything. It is a violation of the Civil Rights Act. It's a violation of the 14th Amendment. It's a violation of pretty much every concept of fairness, equality, and everything else this nation is built on. We're just not going to do it anymore. Well, isn't it coincidental that the UW system can't even define what a DEI program is, can't even define what DEI staff is? Well, we're just going to let the individual schools decide for themselves what it is. Well, we already saw a month ago the flagship school grossly abuse that privilege. And what benefit did LeVar Charleston or any single person in his department ever provide the people of Wisconsin, the students of UW-Madison, academia at large, or anyone else? What work output can you point to that justifies any funding whatsoever of any of these departments? I want you to find me a single instance, a single study, a single bit of good that a single DEI department at a single UW campus or any other, I'll even broaden it to any private company, anybody who in the wake of the death of St. George the Pious, the patron saint of fentanyl abuse, aka George Floyd, and every company on earth was racing to hire as many $150,000 a year race experts to tell them how racist and how awful all of the white people in their organization were. Tell me a single bit of goods. Tell me a single bit of work product that has ever come out of any of these departments ever. Just point to one. My email address, dod@iheartmedia.com. If anybody from any UW system, any school, anything, in fact, I would love for you to send me the actual work, and I'll use air quotes when I say work that these DEI departments are doing. This is the biggest joke of all, because everybody who has ever had a DEI department, any place they have worked or anywhere that they have had to engage in a professional or academic sense, knows what a joke they are. They constantly have to justify their existence by finding tinier and tinier microaggressions to respond to, and they constantly have to have mandatory trainings that they need to prepare for, because if you didn't have the mandatory trainings, you wouldn't have any need for the DEI department now, would you? Now, all week long, what have I been hearing? What have I been hearing from the left? We're about to enter a recession. We're already in a recession. Donald Trump is crashing the economy. Americans just aren't going to be able to spend money on the luxuries that they used to. Well, to me, the greatest luxury for a public institution like the UW system is a DEI department to invent problems that quite simply don't exist. And if you're willing to tell me that there are huge problems that require a DEI office on the UW campus, then you are also admitting to me that UW-Madison is an inherently racist place and that all of the liberals who are in charge of it, and make no mistake, there is not a single person who thinks like me, who is as conservative as me, or who ever even thought about voting for Donald Trump, who has been in charge of the UW-Madison or UW system in our lifetimes. You are listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show, getting fired up on a Friday afternoon.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell here for the Lynch family of dealerships. I've been a big proponent of Lynch for a while now. Here's why. They're literally a family dealership and have been since 1957. That's increasingly rare in the dealership world today, but the Lynch family employs 500 plus people who are all dedicated to taking care of you. They've got a wide selection of new and used vehicles, extended service department hours for early drop-offs and late pickups, and most importantly, they're proud supporters of our local communities and schools. They also stand behind what they sell with Lynch certified used vehicles, including a 168-point inspection to determine eligibility, an unparalleled 90-day or 3,000-mile certified guarantee, and a 10-day 500-mile exchange policy. And when you pair this with the Lynch Protected program, they cover your paint, your windshield, and your tires. It's easy to see why you should consider Lynch. Check them out today at shoplynch.com.
I'm Ryan Harrison, owner of Ryan Waterproofing. If it seems rain hangs around your home coming down as insidiously delicate droplets or in buckets, and if neither, rain tends to lurk suspiciously in the atmosphere around your house, you probably have a wet, mildewy, leaky basement with cracked walls. No basement wall or foundation repair is too big or small for Ryan Waterproofing. We won't be the most expensive. The larger the job, the more you'll save with Ryan. We've eliminated bowed walls, cracks, spalling, seepage, and flooding in Coast Guard stations, museums, and countless Wisconsin homes. Ryan's waterproofing experts show up on time and do exactly what we say we're going to do, eliminating your water problems, restoring your home, even ending your negative obsession with rain. Imagine looking out the window for rainbows rather than obsessing about your basement walls and floors next time, every time it rains. Free estimates, affordable financing. Because praying for drought is overrated. Ryan Waterproofing, call Ryan.com. That's call RION.com.
Hey, Milwaukee, Sendix is celebrating 99 years as your trusted local grocer. This week, check out anniversary deals like Sendix Natural Black Angus Ground Sirloin for just $5.99 a pound. Premium Icelandic cod fillets are just $4.99 a pound. And 1 pound packages of premium Driscoll strawberries are just $2 for $6. With savings like these, now that's a reason to celebrate. Sendix Food Markets, your trusted local grocer.
Tom Nichols with Meisner, Tierney, Fisher & Nichols.
Litigation is like war. Though fortunately in a civilized society, nobody gets hurt. But in litigation and war, you need to be prepared because the stakes can be huge. Attorneys at Meisner, Tierney, Fisher & Nichols know that being prepared means understanding all sides of the case. They won't just determine how to argue your side. They'll put in the work to understand the arguments going in both directions. while always aiming to get a positive end result for you. High integrity and earned respect have been hallmarks of our firm for quite some time. We've been representing businesses here in Wisconsin for over 170 years. When it comes to defending and preserving your business, we want attorneys that will understand all the arguments, so that the only ones surprised are those on the other side.
Good clients deserve good lawyers. Meisner, Tierney, Fisher, and Nichols. MTFN.com.
All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the Annex Wealth Management Studios. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
WISN.
Big taxers, big spenders, political cronies, global warming alarmists, charlatans, liars, scam artists, and feeders at the public trough. The threats to your happiness are many, but that's where we can help. News Talk 1130 WISN. Our truth shall keep you free.
No, I'm dead serious about this. There is no need for a DEI program at any organization, public or private, especially public. Frankly, if Harley Davidson wants to, employ 57 people to tell their employees that Harley Davidson has racist roots, it can be my guest. But I'm not paying for Harley Davidson. I don't own any stock in Harley Davidson. I have no skin in that game. And I'm just using that company as a totally random example, kind of. I do pay for the UW system. Unless the UW system is willing to admit to me, and they can do so on my program live on the radio across the state and the country, listening on the iHeartRadio app, that the UW system is so horribly, almost irreparably racist that it needs a DEI department on every campus, and it needs dozens of DEI employees stationed in every department of said campus to constantly police it, then there is no need for a DEI program. And this is the thing that never made sense to me. In the rise of DEI or affirmative action programs or anything else, if the claim is that DEI and efforts to promote diversity and equity and inclusion are necessary because of systemic racism, isn't that an explicit admission that the most liberal organizations in America are systemically racist? I'm sorry, you're not seeing a DEI program at the Daily Wire. Something tells me that it's another conservative or National Review magazine does not have a chief DEI officer. You think the Joe Rogan show, they got the producer, they got the camera crew, and then there's the DEI officer telling Joe not to be racist? Why is that? Well, is it just liberals are so hyper-conscious of their own racism and their own bigotry? Or in the alternative, do conservatives recognize what liberals simply can't? Or maybe deep down they do, because I suspect even the most committed race-conscious leftist has to know deep down, somewhere buried under a haze of bong smoke and patchouli oil, that they're being played by grifters. In that sense, I think the smartest man in America over the past 45 years is Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton took what old Jesse Jackson was doing and he weaponized it. I mean, he took an obvious fraud, Tawana Brawley. That story never been from the very beginning, but he weaponized white guilt in order to create for himself a media empire. He is a wealthy man because white liberals constantly self-flagellate about how racist and awful they all are. Lefties, maybe you are. Truly. I mean, your political party was responsible for the Trail of Tears the displacement of Native Americans. Your political party seceded from the United States because it didn't want to give up owning black people after they had, in the words of comedian Shane Gillis, the racism shot out of them by the North. They were the party of poll taxes, of lynchings, of the KKK. They were the party that opposed women's suffrage. They were the party that opposed the passage of the Civil Rights Act. They were the party that opposed school integration. So maybe liberals, you are just the more forward-thinking racists of the 21st century, but I doubt that. I think ultimately you know that this country is not a fundamentally racist place. I was golfing today, and my buddies and I were talking about just how, we're not super consistent. I had a good round. I think I shot a 42 on the front nine before I had to take off and go to work, sadly. And we were talking about a viral image of Tiger Woods' 7-iron and how it was so worn down on the sweet spot because that's the only place he ever hit the ball. I mean, it's remarkable. We were talking about Tiger's 1997 Masters triumph. Most popular golfer of all time, Tiger Woods. Most popular athlete in the history of this country, and it's not even close, Michael Jordan. These are the most admired people. I mean, Tiger and Michael Jordan, not the best people in their personal lives. Most popular person on TV, it wasn't even close for 20, 25 years, Oprah Winfrey. Come on. Oh, well, Dan, that's not systemic racism. This country bends over backwards to be better than any nation on earth to all citizens of all races, colors, and creeds. And what do we get? Grifters constantly taking advantage of the most mealy-mouthed, mushy-headed, guilt-ridden among us, the libs. This is why institutions controlled by leftists are ripe for the pay. Do you think someone could ever come in and the Dan O'Donnell show, well, you need a DEI office? like hell I do. UW system, yeah. Tell us how racist we are, please. My friend Clay Travis says the problem with racism in America is that demand for racist incidents far outstrips supply. So leftists have to make them up. An example of that, very famous example, coming up next.
Every 30 seconds, another child is taken and falls victim to trafficking. They are stolen, exploited, and silenced. But we can all fight back. Join us on May 3rd at the Oconomowoc Lake Club for Off to the Races, a Kentucky Derby Gala, supported by Light Their Way. Your ticket, your donation, your voice can help rescue and protect these children. Stand up. Act now. Get your tickets at lighttheirway.com and help us race toward a future free from child trafficking. Because every child deserves freedom, but time is running out.
I'm looking for the fastest and easiest way to sell my home, and I keep hearing one name over and over. So I ask people, why Grandview Homes instead of a real estate agent?
We needed to sell Mom's home quickly and with a company we could rely on.
We settled on Grandview based primarily on reputation.
Was the house in rough shape?
Yeah.
She accumulated 50 years worth of stuff.
It was very convenient to just leave everything I did not want and not worry about it. They took out all the stress of emptying and cleaning the home.
That sounds pretty easy.
And no showings, no closing costs, no staging, no real estate agent fees, no added stress.
Okay, that is easy.
Whether you have a hard-to-sell home, want a stress-free sale, or simply need to sell your home fast, Grandview Homes is the name you know and the name you can trust. We buy every home as is, and you'll get a fair cash offer in just hours. Visit GrandviewHomes.com to discover the easiest and fastest way to sell a home.
I'm Dan Voss from Cut and Go. Ugly and depressing and trees killed off by emerald ash, oak wilt, and Dutch elm disease are dangerous for friends and loved ones, even a potential liability. Slowly rotting, left-standing hardwood trees can weigh tens of thousands of pounds. Even seemingly smaller branches can weigh tens, even hundreds of pounds. ones. With Cut and Go, there is no reason to risk injury or property damage. Live trees in precarious placement for an arborist to remove over homes, garages, commercial buildings, luxury landscapes are easily and safely laid on the ground by Cut and Go's NCCER crane-operated certified remote control automobile mounted articulating crane grapple saw operators. You can save big money and stock up on firewood by having Cut and Go put your trees on the ground for you to clean up or have a bonfire or split firewood, or we can take it all with us when we leave. A Tons of Trees movement. Cut and Go trees.com. That's CUTNGO trees.com. Once again, that's cutandgotrees.com.
Water running back to your foundation due to settling concrete can lead to extremely expensive foundation repairs. Even mold and bacteria in your home.
MudTech, 262-337-0934.
Puts existing concrete back to grade, keeping water away from your foundation for a fraction of patio or driveway replacement cost.
MudTech, 262-337-0934.
For a free estimate today.
MudTech, 262-337-0934.
Permanently fixes asphalt with state-of-the-art technology. Uneven sagging stairs and walkways are easily evened out for less than you are guessing with M to the U to the D to the T to the E to the C to the H.
262-337-0934.
The cost of having southeastern Wisconsin's premier concrete releveling and asphalt repair technicians at MudTech.
262-337-0934.
Restore your paved surfaces today is a fraction of the cost of replacement tomorrow. Call right now.
262-337-0934.
MudTechWorks.com.
An auction to sell your house? And it includes a 2.99% full service MLS listing? Come on. Put simply, the absolute best way to sell your home is a Redefined Realty MLS listing enhanced by the EasyHomeBidder.com auction bidding platform. You get max profits and minimal contingencies. Buyers and sellers both love winning at auction. Traditional real estate agents put houses on MLS, then talk sellers into accepting offers. It's always been done that way. While buyers can still make a traditional offer, auctions powered by EasyHomeBidder.com allow every interested party to compete for your home through MLS and at auction on your terms. Sellers never lose a penny again. Dorothy's Ruby slippers would not have sold for $28 million without an auction. Similarly, the maximum price of your home will only be achieved at auction. Traditional real estate agents sell ordinary MLS services. Redefine's Mentors of Winning enhance the home selling process combining auction and MLS. RedefinedRealty.com. Buyers win, sellers win. Real estate's future is now. Real estate for winners. RedefinedRealty.com.
There are only a handful of carpet cleaning companies in the country who guarantee results, and we're one of them. It's no wonder why we're Wisconsin's most trusted carpet cleaner.
Edelman Carpet Furniture and Drapery Cleaning.
It's Edelman again. Edelman.
Hey, it's Dan O'Donnell. I heard from a lot of people that their power went out during this last snowstorm, some for just an hour, but others for days. That's scary and it's frustrating. I have a solution. Current Electric is your standby emergency power generator superhero. When the power goes out, a standby generator detects the outage and automatically powers on to keep your family warm and safe. Go to callcurrent.com to set up a no stress, no pressure, completely free conversation about your home. That's callcurrent.com.
Baseball is here. All Brewers games are on sale now. Score a seat to collect the biggest giveaways and all your favorite theme nights now. Get in on a huge season. The crew is back. Get your seats now at brewers.com/ticket finder.
Roger Caron was 16 when first convicted.
Has spent 24 of those years in jail.
12 years in solitary.
You'll go to jail more than you ever prison in Canada.
The Go Boy podcast is the gritty true crime story of daring prison escapes, risky bank robberies, and swift police arrests. And the man who fought his way out of some of the darkest places imaginable to go from an ex-con to a best-selling author almost overnight. Open your free iHeartRadio app, search Go Boy, and start listening today.
What's the problem with a DEI thinking? What's the problem with seeing the world through a racial lens? Well, ultimately, not only are you gullible, you're susceptible to manipulation by bad actors trying to convince you that, yes, you really are a part of America's systemic racism problem. But as Clay Travis, you hear him noon to 3 every single day here. 11 to 2, noon to 3 Eastern, Clay and Buck are on. He famously said, the problem with the race grifting industry in America is that demand for racist incidents far outstrips supply. So what happens is there are hoaxes all the time to keep this myth going that somehow America is this racist, awful place. People with the DEI mindset, oftentimes people in DEI positions, will fake hate crimes. They will pretend to be victims because victimhood is a celebrated status on the left. It is one of the most bizarre developments I think I have ever seen in a nation that has always prided itself on hard work and overcoming obstacles. And, well, now the most celebrated thing you can be is a victim of American society, even when you're not. The new heroine on the American left is Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. She is, I call, the Dollar Tree AOC. And they love her, let's face it, because she says the same stupid bleep that AOC says, but she's black. Let's just be completely honest about why it is leftists love Dollar Tree AOC and why she is suddenly everywhere. Because they want to promote a black woman. Well, what if that black woman got where she is on the back of a lengthy, years-long lie? 2019, while she was on a video podcast, then public defender and private attorney Jasmine Crockett told the story of why she decided to go to law school.
Around my junior year, I was the victim of a hate crime or two. And so were a group of my friends all at the same time. Cars were keyed with the N-word. We received hate mail in our on-campus mailboxes. And at that time, my school hired the Cochran firm. And there was a lawyer who graduated from University of Houston who was assigned to me. And it was the first time in my life that I felt helpless. And I was like, I want to help people that are going through what I've just experienced. And at that point in time, I decided that I was going to sit for the LSAT.
A lot of specific claims made there. It should be noted that in an article about her after she won a seat on Congress at CNN.com, July 23rd, 2021, she told a completely different story about why she decided to become a lawyer. She said she originally wanted to be an anesthesiologist until an advocate helped her get through those terrible hate crimes that she experienced in college, that it wasn't the lawyer at all. In fact, she cannot say what the name of that lawyer is. She has no idea what. Just 6 years ago, she was saying he was a lawyer from the University of Houston, but she doesn't know his name. You would have thought after he changed the course of her life so dramatically, she would have at least gotten his business card. But okay, it's a long time ago. That said, she made a whole lot of specific claims in there. She and her friends had their cars keyed with the N-word and that there were letters sent to her. She later explained that they were cut out of magazines and newspapers like a traditional ransom note in movies. And she claimed that her college, Rhodes College in Tennessee, called the Cochran Law Firm, that's Johnny Cochran's law firm. Guess what? The Tennessee Star investigated all of this. Rhodes College refused to answer any questions, saying there was no complaint by Jasmine Crockett, but saying maybe somebody else filed a complaint. There were some complaints about incidents during this time frame, would not answer specific questions. Crockett, of course, never answered a single question that the Tennessee Star posed. Memphis Police Department said they have no record whatsoever reporting any sort of crime at Rhodes College in 2002. What about the Cochran Law Firm? Well, A, Rhodes College has no record of ever hiring the Cochran Law Firm to look into this. And the person who currently owns the Cochran Law Firm, of course, Johnny died some years back, said, quote, he had no idea about the veracity of Crockett's claims as the practice recently changed hands. And most of those practicing in senior positions in 2002 are no longer living. In other words, she almost certainly made all of this stuff up. She had her car keyed with the N-word, but didn't go to the police. Did the Memphis Police Department have any record of anyone reporting a car keyed with the N-word? Any hateful letters cut out of magazines? Did the school? Can Crockett tell us who her friends were that also got their cars keyed? Can she tell us who at the Cochran Law Firm she spoke to? Can she tell us who at Rhodes College she would have spoke to? Of course not. But here's the advantage of being the new hot voice on the left. When you are Dollar Tree AOC, you don't have to answer any of these questions. We'll name the unhinged liberal of the day coming up next here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
From the Lynch Truck Center in Waterford, Total Traffic Center.
Westbound 94 solid out of the Marquette to Mitchell Boulevard. There's a crash on the right shoulder. Eastbound with delays in Waukesha County from Redford to Brookfield Road, then so from 84th to the stadium. I'm Mike Priest, and that's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com, and we sell custom blinds, shades, and shutters at low prices. Our blinds are handcrafted to fit your windows, and if they don't, for any reason, we'll remake them for free. Your satisfaction is always guaranteed at Blindster.com.
I'm Victor Harding, a true trial attorney at Warshevsky Law. You've heard our advertising for years. While it's been effective introducing Warshevsky to injured people in need of maximum judgments and settlements, most of our clients come from personal referral. Referrals from former clients grateful for the settlement or trial judgment Warshevsky won on their behalf. Thus, they're recommending us to friends and family. Referrals from people in the community, including other lawyers and judges who want to make sure their friends and family are taken care of. Still not sure? Ask around. Warshevsky is referred by Wisconsin law enforcement officers who've seen Warshevsky attorneys in action, desperate to make sure friends and family receive just compensation. Insurance adjusters, often our adversaries, refer their family members hurt in accidents. They know the work we do. They all refer Warshevsky because, big case or small, we can help. If someone you love is injured, please let them know, because at the end of their ordeal, their injury is about the money. Warshevsky.com.
From the very beginning, iHeart has believed in me.
Even now, I still get excited when I hear one of my songs playing on the radio.
Thank you, iHeartRadio, for honoring the truth I've fought for in my music.
Because we believe in the power of music. All your favorite artists, all in one place. The free iHeartRadio app.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell for Mander Collision and Glass, now with 7 locations to serve you across the greater Milwaukee area. Start your repair right now at mandercollision.com. Mander truly is the best decision after a collision.
People should be judged for the content of their character, not the straightness of their teeth.
I'm Mila. The gracious, caring staff at Ross Dental make straight teeth convenient.
Bo, Mila's big brother here. High school social pressure can make students want to be invisible. Ross Dental Straight teeth are confidence building.
With Ross Dental Straight teeth, you and your children will smile like you just don't care because you don't.
Dr. Ross did imaging and ordered virtually invisible plastic trays that fit over our teeth, shifting them ever so slightly.
Every 5 days or so, we start new trays that shift teeth a little more.
Unlike conventional braces, we can take the trays off to eat and brush our teeth, and they cost less.
A bonus for me is clicking in my jaw stopped.
Dr. Ross is a great dentist, and Dad says Ross Dental is the best deal.
Family dentistry, cosmetic whitening, Ross Dental Straight Smiles, and full sedation dentistry. For anxious patients needing substantial restoration. Our mission, your comfort, health, and confidence. Smile like you just don't care, because you don't. RossDentalWI.com.
Imagine your home totally organized. At Closets by Design, we specialize in providing affordable, custom-built storage solutions with built-ins and beyond. From garages to new home offices. Our experienced designers work within your budget to design a solution fit perfectly to your needs. Get 40% off plus an additional 15% with 18-month financing. Visit closetsbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN to get started. Let's get organized together.
When you've made the choice to buy the industry's best, Marvin replacement windows, find them at Wisconsin's largest Marvin window dealer. Your clear choice for more, Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
Your clear choice for more, Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
Fletcher Arms Spring Cleaning Sale is here. All cleaning supplies are 15% off Friday through Sunday, including firearm cleaning kits, cleaning supplies, bore snakes, cleaning mats, suppressor cleaning kits, and more. Get more savings with one of our ammo can cleaning bundles starting at $49.99. Includes a cleaning kit, cleaning mat, pads, brush, an ammo can, and a 50% off coupon for our new gun owner seminar. Spring cleaning sale this weekend at Fletcher Arms, your friendly family-run shooting destination since 1978.
This time of year can be tough on a number of areas in your home. This is Dan O'Donnell, and if you're struggling with any electrical issues, I recommend the superheroes at Current Electric. Chuck Smith, a Brookfield Central grad, started Current Electric over 40 years ago. His mission was to serve our community with integrity and quality, and has done that at Current Electric. If you need something as small as an outlet or switch repair or a whole home rewiring, call on the superheroes from Current Electric. Go to callcurrent.com.
This is where sycophants and chills are shunned, and commitment to the unvarnished truth is sustained. Just one reason that this is Wisconsin's most listened to radio station. News Talk 1130, WISN.
Classical conservatism, contemporary style. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show, and it is time right now to name the unhinged liberal of the day.
Make me crazy.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany. Make me crazy.
All white people are racist.
Trump
is dangerous because he's evil.
America
is
over.
Well, the stock market wasn't the only thing doing a whipsaw this week. So, too, were liberal talking points about it. On Sunday, on Inside with Jen Psaki, Elizabeth Warren said this.
Comes in and basically starts the dumbest trade war in the history of this country. This is going to be about potentially millions of people losing their jobs. It's going to be about millions of people losing their savings, many of people losing their retirement security, and at the same time taking on even higher costs.
All right, so that's what she said on Sunday. We're going to be in a recession. Everybody is going to be broke. Here's what she tweeted out yesterday evening after it appeared the stock market would be roaring back. And I quote, "Donald Trump in a nutshell, doing everything he can to make the ultra-rich even richer." No, you know what's rich? The fact that the left simply cannot settle on a consistent narrative. Elizabeth Warren, your unhinged liberal of the day. You are listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. More on those tariffs and where we go from here next.
Listen to Benjamin Yount, weekday mornings 9 to 11 on News Talk 1130 WISN Milwaukee. And make WISN the #1 preset on your car radio and on the new iHeart app. Free never sounded so good.
Good afternoon, I'm Dave Michaels. The CDC has denied the city of Milwaukee's request for help with Milwaukee Public Schools' lead poisoning probe, saying they don't have enough workers anymore in the program due to layoffs. Northwestern Mutual says they plan to hire 5,000 workers, including 500 in Wisconsin, this year. And an immigration judge says that Columbian University organizer and pro-Palestinian activist Mohammed Khalil can be deported by the White House. The 4 o'clock business report brought to you by the Good Feet store. The Dow was up today 619 points. The NASDAQ gained 337 while the S&P rose 95. Checking the Holiday Automotive and Fond du Lac Sports Scoreboard, Brewers open up a weekend series against the Diamondbacks in Arizona tonight. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Dave Michaels on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
from the Hubie and Abraham Weather Center.
A few clouds tonight with temperatures falling into the low and mid-30s by morning. Sunny to start Saturday, then some afternoon clouds and highs in the mid-50s lakeside, low 60s inland. There is a chance for a few showers at times Sunday. I'm Fox 6 meteorologist Stephanie Barrichello.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Looking for affordable blinds, shades, or shutters for your home? Don't hire an expensive pro. Check out Blindster.com, where we offer custom-made window coverings at guaranteed low prices with a team of pros ready to help you every step of the way. Blindster.com.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Springtime DIY is in full bloom at Fleet Farm. 3-pound bags of Superior grass seed are on sale for just $9.99. 32-pound bags of Superior wheat and feed are sale priced at $19.99. Plus, buy an M18 5-amp rechargeable battery starter kit and get a select Milwaukee Bear tool for free. In-store only. Indoor, outdoor. Handle all your DIY needs at the best prices guaranteed at Fleet Farm.
Hey, Milwaukee, Sendix is celebrating 99 years as your trusted local grocer. This week, check out anniversary deals like Sendix Natural Black Angus Ground Sirloin for just $5.99 a pound. Premium Icelandic cod fillets are just $4.99 a pound. And 1-pound packages of premium Driscoll strawberries are just $2 for $6. With savings like these, now that's a reason to celebrate. Sendix Food Markets, your trusted local grocer.
I'm Art Flater of Central Office Systems. Any business can be brought to its knees by thieves and IT hackers.
Chris Rozecki here. The IT guy you've known since high school doesn't have the resources to protect your organization.
Central Office Systems is the small business IT company that understands cyber with resources to back up your network.
Does your team work outside the hours of 8 to 5? Does your IT company do the same without nickel and diming you? Central Office Systems. No nickeling, no diming.
You hear those injured ads? Cameras with good resolution working properly cut down on injuries. Cameras deter thieves. Cameras deter scammers. Cameras that work.
With Central Office Systems Managed Network Support, a qualified technician grateful for the opportunity to solve your issue answers the phone within 1 minute.
Camera systems, network security, network support.
Have insurance? Will that satisfy your customers while your company's crucial business functions are zero for a week or two? Real Insurance is utilizing an IT service provider who secures your computers from ever going down.
CentralOfficeSystems.com.
Attorney Tom Grieve here for Divergent Family Law. You really believed your paths were one and the same until death do you part. Your best interest was their best interest. Increasingly, it's clear you are on divergent paths, having grown apart in interests, goals, even morality. Having made it through the latest battery of holidays, you're now resolved to make your own way. Divergent Family Law is experienced attorneys who will make sure your path is not the lesser of two traversed as you go separate ways. Wisconsin statutes have no provisions for love, hate, or anger. Divorce is the disassembly of a legal contract, the division of assets, and the legal assignment of responsibility for property that cannot be physically divided. No judge or parent can split children in two, physically or emotionally. Family law is experiential. With Divergent Family Law, the outcome is predictable. Our attorneys can tell you up front with considerable accuracy the details of your divorce decree because we know Wisconsin family law. We know the adjudicators and we know your rights. Divergent Family Law, separate and equal or better. DivergentFamilyLaw.com.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex.com. WISN listeners are wise, enlightened, engaged, and have impeccably good taste. Thank you for making us Wisconsin's most listened to radio station. News Talk 1130 WISN.
we're talking about the Masters leaderboard heading into moving day tomorrow. The golfers are still on the course. Some of the leaders are. How about this for a 1, 2, 3? And I guess if you were planning on watching afterwards after work, turn down your radio for just a little bit. Okay? Justin Rose is leading at 8 under. Bryson DeChambeau is in second at 7 under. Rory McIlroy is tied for third at 6 under. At 5 under, tied for 6th, Shane Lowry, Jason Day, and Scotty Scheffler. Victor Hovland is at 4 under. Xander Schauffele, Tommy Fleetwood, and Patrick Reed, as well as Bubba Watson's at 1 under. Those guys, Colin Morikawa, also at 2 under, theoretically in striking distance over the course of 2 days. But 1, 2, 3 being 3 of the best known, I would argue Justin Rose, the leader, is probably the least known out of those 3. DeChambeau and McIlroy, I think if you take Tiger Woods out of the mix, technically he's still active, but unfortunately he's just never going to be the same player again, even on the senior tour or whatever they're calling it now. He's easily the best known golfer since Hogan and Nicklaus. I would say worldwide, I think Tiger Woods is the most famous golfer of all time. I'm not saying the best, although in his prime, do you remember how dominating he was in 1997? Was that the year where he won by 16 strokes or some insane amount? And they had to very famously Tiger-proof the course by making it longer, by making it more challenging, because they saw Tiger was the first of a new generation of golfers, all of whom coming after him worshipped the ground Tiger walked on, because we're such a racist country that everybody worshipped the one black guy who was on tour, and they just hit the ball longer. They had the same impeccable control with the irons and, had varying degrees of skill with the putter, but they were far more concerned. Tiger really led the way in, I've heard the rumors about Tiger and why his back was all messed up and his body just sort of broke down because of what he might have been taking that may or may not have been legal that caused him to buff up as quickly and as heavily as he did. But he was the first to really hit the weight room hard, to focus on nutrition. Back in the 1990s, you had guys like John Daly. Daly still rips butts while he's on the course. Now, Arnold Palmer. Arnie was walking around. Jack Nicklaus. He was always much cleaner living than Arnie was, but still, he'd knock back a couple. Lee Trevino and that, Bryson DeChambeau is just electric. When he is on, the man is insanely fun to watch because of how far he hits the ball. And I'm not a big golf viewer. I love playing golf. It is, I just absolutely love it. Apparently, my buddies, thank you very much, who I was golfing with this morning, texted and said I actually shot a 41, not a 42. I thought I shot a 40. My buddy was texting me, he's bragging. He did not shoot well at all in the front nine. He came back and shot an 87, which for him is spectacular. For me, for anybody, that's spectacular. But to have Justin Rose, Bryson DeChambeau, Rory McIlroy, Jason Day, Shane Lowry, Scotty Scheffler, and Victor Hovland all right there, this is going to be a great weekend. The best Masters I ever saw. I'm telling you, and most people, when you ask them, what was the best Masters that they ever saw? Jack in 1986, I think. When he came back, he was 40-something, still the oldest player ever to win it. I was 4 years old, so I couldn't have watched that one. Tiger Woods, 2019, it was incredible. It gave me chills. It really did. And I've always been a Tiger Woods fan. Again, not so much of the off the field or off the course stuff. Although, did you hear who Tiger Woods' new girlfriend is? Did you hear about this? Yes. Tiger Woods has debuted his relationship with Vanessa Trump. And Vanessa Trump is that Don Jr.'s ex-wife? I think. I don't even know. I'm not that deep into Trump world, but anyway, it is going to be a fantastic weekend at the Masters. If you watch no other golf, that is Don Jr.'s ex. Okay, I thought so. If you watch no other tournament, watch the Masters. It is a tradition. Jim Nantz, you are right, doggone it. It is a tradition unlike any other. It is. What? No, he's not. He's not gone. What are you talking about? Yeah, he announced his exit in like 2057. No, I'm serious. He wants to go until he calls his 50th Masters or something like that. Or he wants to end it when he's timed with like the 100th anniversary of the Masters or something like that. And I'm like, dude, you'll be like 94 when that happens. In any event. All right, Paul, stop distracting me. 414-799-1130 if you would like to produce this show instead of Paul. 1-800-838-9476. We will also take job applications via email, dod@iheartmedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show as well. Watch the show streaming live on X, on Facebook, or on our YouTube channel. Today, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said that President Trump is waiting for Xi Jinping's call, and that he is confident that Trump, in fact, is going to get a deal done, that China wants to have a deal. Meanwhile, she said, look, amid all of the media-created doom, there are a whole lot of good signs for America's economy.
Yesterday, the CPI report, inflation declined massively. Consumer prices are dropping for the first time in years. Energy prices are down. In fact, oil prices are down 20% since this president took office. Wholesale prices fell again. There have been trillions of dollars in investments into this country. Every day, the president is signing executive orders to cut regulation, especially when it comes to Environmental Protection Agency, our energy industry. That's going to unleash the economic boom in this country that we saw in the president's first term. So trust in President Trump. He knows what he's doing. This is a proven economic formula.
And guess what? The American people are on board. I always talk about Harry Enton on CNN, who I think is one of the best data minds working in media right now. Yes, he's almost certainly a Democrat. Yes, he works for CNN, but he is by and large an honest broker, and he is someone who just cares about data and what it says. Well, today on CNN's morning show, he was absolutely floored by data that showed him that for the first time ever, Republicans are tied with Democrats when asked the question. Voters respond, who cares more about people like me? Democrats for decades have dominated that answer. And remember, this poll, I believe it was a Morning Consult poll, was in the field this week during Trump's trade war. Which party cares more about people like me? Democrats have dominated this question for 3 decades. Now the two parties are tied. Here's Anthony.
This, to me, is one of the most shocking pieces of poll data that I truthfully have seen this year, or maybe in any prior year.
Really?
Yes, really, because I want you to take a look. Cares more about the needs for people like you. You mentioned it, Kate Paul. We got a tie, even after this tariff war had already started, split between Democrats and Republicans on how people feel, which party cares more for needs of people like you. And why is that so surprising? Because I want you to take a look at prior years. Democrats always lead on this question. Back in 2017, before the 2018 midterms, 13-point lead. 2005, a 23-point lead for Democrats. 1994, which was a big Republican year, a 19-point lead for Democrats. And now all of a sudden, a tie? All of a sudden, the Democrats, who are the party of the people, no more. We get a tie on this question, on a question that has traditionally overwhelmingly been a Democratic advantage. Which party cares more for the needs of people like you? It's truly something I would not have expected to see, especially after this tariff war had begun.
Well, Harry, you maybe haven't been paying as close attention to the data as I'd give you credit for, because this is emblematic of what I think is a much broader demographic shift. And we've been talking about this a whole lot with respect to those voters in Wisconsin. The working class across the country have flocked to President Trump and the Republican Party in droves. The challenge, though, is that a whole lot of them are only Trump voters. And while I really hate the term cult of personality, because I don't think it is, I believe that there is still a widespread belief amongst a whole lot of disaffected Democrats, reluctant Republicans. They're not necessarily Trump-only voters, but they don't believe that the rest of the Republican Party is as committed to people like them as Trump himself is. Same Morning Consult poll. Would you believe that in every single swing state, except one, and I'll let you guess which swing state that is, President Trump has positive approval ratings? North Carolina, +9. Georgia, +8. Nevada, +8. Arizona, +6. Pennsylvania, +3. Michigan, +1. Wisconsin, he's, I think, -4. We just had a big election, though, so you've got the lefties here riled up like a hornet's nest because Elon Musk came to town and they weren't able to make a citizen's arrest of him, like that crazy man who owns the alleged brewery up in Minocqua. This is seismic. And it's not one poll. It's not one election. This has been going on since the rise of Trump, but I think even before that. Once the Republican Party shed its Mitt Romney, bourgeoisie, country club, white guy image that really hit its zenith, I think, in the 2012 presidential election, when we ran the two single most waspy-looking white dudes ever in Romney and Ryan. Look, I love Paul Ryan. He has always been I know a lot of you hate his guts, but like Charlie Sykes, he was always very good. When he was House Speaker, he took the time to talk to my son when he was a little boy. We went to some event, and on policy, there is no Trump economic boom in his first term without Paul Ryan getting the tax plan through the House and through the Senate, too. Let's not forget that. The architect of Trumponomics, in a very large and very real sense, was Paul Ryan. Well, the knock is that he's a rhino. The knock is that he hated Donald Trump, which is true. Does not like him personally. Thinks he's a bad guy, whatever. But conservatism, see, the difference is the hate for Paul Ryan comes from a different ideological wing of a wider and wider Republican Party tent. So what we have now are people, and I think the trade war sort of exposes this, okay? Because you have a whole lot of blue-collar working class people who say, yes, we want tariffs on goods. We want American manufacturing to come back. We want American farmers to be able to sell more across the globe. Well, the reality is that agriculture is something that people don't really import from the United States, no matter what, because think about it. If you're the Bahamas, do you really need to import American oranges, or can you grow your own? Now, maybe you don't have the farm space to be able to do so, but the reality is a lot of people in blue-collar jobs and who don't come from the traditional free market mindset of the Republican Party and the conservative movement, they believe that you can tariff your way to economic prosperity. They pine for an American manufacturing sector that was never going to come back regardless of whether the Far East was opened to the manufacturing sector. The sad reality is that unionization and the corruption of the American labor union movement throughout the, I'll go 1920s to about the 1970s, 1980s, made it impossible, regardless of where manufacturing was going to be tariffed, for the American worker to compete. How are you supposed to compete when the Chinese can essentially conscript labor? You can't. The only way American manufacturing can compete, the only way that America is going to be a manufacturing leader again, is through almost fully automated factories. And folks, I've heard from a lot of you who say, well, Dan, you're crazy if you think that's ever going to happen. It is, and it's going to happen a lot faster than you think. Artificial intelligence handling product flows, handling buying, handling distribution, maybe 10 to 20 people working to oversee a fully automated factory. You don't think Elon Musk is inventing billions of dollars on Tesla robots to serve drinks at cocktail parties like he did when he debuted those, do you? Now, I'm not saying right now robots are going to take over everything, but eventually, and it might not happen in our lifetimes, it might not, we are going to come to a point in humanity's existence where we can have everything we want at almost zero cost to produce, save for the initial investment in artificial intelligence systems and robotics, 3D printing technology, which is only going to increase exponentially. I'm getting a little distracted from the main point, but the main point is that now we have a conservative movement that really does have these intellectual discussions and these debates, because we have a movement that is on trade far closer to, and I mean no disrespect by this, but far closer to Bernie Sanders than it ever was to anyone who has ever existed on the right. Ronald Reagan was quite possibly the most famous free trader. President Trump sort of straddles that line. I believe he thinks tariffs can work as a concept, and I think he loves the concept of building a wall and making Mexico pay for it. That was a very famous campaign promise. He loves the idea of other countries paying their fair share. But what he also loves is the idea of exporting American products, and the American manufacturing sector doesn't have to exist on American soil. It can't exist on foreign soil now because of all sorts of hidden barriers to free and open competition that we, as people who aren't maybe in that supply chain, would never really think of or see. And I used the example earlier this week of foreigners not being allowed to buy property in Mexico. You have to hire a Mexican holding company to actually purchase the property. At least you used to. Mexico went on a mad binge of reforming all of their laws, especially their immigration laws, when people like me started pointing out how insanely hypocritical they were. But President Trump believes in free trade, but he also believes in a fairer deal and a fairer shake for the American people. And to me, I think that is the perfect blend of a sort of neo-protectionism combined with the traditional free market ethos of the Republican Party. And that's a good example on how Republicans have a big tent and Democrats have a smaller and smaller one, because they have put all their eggs over the last 20 to 25 years, not in the economic basket, but rather in racial and gender-based and sexuality-based demagoguery that has essentially divided people along these demographic lines and, in essence, put them against each other on this pyramid of victimhood that the left has created. And the idea, of course, is that, well, you are all oppressed, and the only way you can ever get ahead in this country is to have an ever-expanding federal government that protects you from the racists in the federal government, because we're a systemically racist country. Okay, it doesn't really pass logical muster, but nothing on the left really does. As a result of that, we now have the peaceniks in the Republican Party. We now have the war hawks still in the Republican Party, but who are saying, hey, wait a second, maybe we were wrong about the Iraq War. Maybe we overreacted to 9/11 and, foreign adventurism doesn't work. We can't export American democracy. We can't just kind of say, okay, Saddam's gone, vote for people that are like us. That doesn't happen. Do you know what fills the void of the strongman leadership in the Middle East? Radical Islam. Every single time. On trade, we say, okay, yes, we want to have free access and easy access to as many goods from as many places around the world as possible, but why does America not get that same quarter anywhere else in the world? Now it's time to fix that. What I appreciate about President Trump is that he thinks about this differently from almost every other president. In fact, I dare say every other president who has ever lived, saying, look, we hold all the cards here. The American marketplace is the single biggest leverage tool that any entity on planet Earth has. Why the hell aren't we using it? Now he is. It is my very strong belief that at some point, China is going to have to come to the bargaining table and is going to acquiesce to at least some of what President Trump wants. Let's not forget, it does appear, and I'm going back to the first Trump term, that Xi and Trump genuinely do like each other personally. Frankly, not a big fan of Winnie the Pooh. Do you know Winnie the Pooh is banned in China? Do you know why? Because Xi Jinping looks shockingly like Winnie the Pooh. And a lot of freedom fighters in China, Winnie the Pooh is first of all, one thing about leftists, you are never, ever, ever allowed to mock them, especially leftists with the second largest military on earth behind them. Bad things happen when you mock Xi Jinping. But yeah, you disappear. Just like Jack Ma, the richest guy in China. I mean, think about this. And this is something President Trump also wants to leverage. Human rights, open society, freer markets over there, maybe a push to the D word, a more democratic China. Jack Ma is the wealthiest. Alibaba, he founded it. He is the wealthiest man in China. He disappeared for like 6 months because he criticized Xi Jinping and the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. I don't know how this is going to resolve itself. What I do know is the speed at which pretty much every other country caved says to me that you're going to see probably throughout the summer, hey, on Tuesday, we got to deal with Ireland. Hey, on Wednesday, we've got to deal with Israel. Hey, on Thursday, we've got to deal with that penguin island that doesn't have any people on it. Stupid freeloading penguins. About time someone put them in their place. We get into all things Trump. What went on today at the White House while you were at work? The Daily Trump Date is coming up next.
From the Lynch Buick GMC of West Bend Total Traffic Center.
Traffic crawls east on 94 from Grandview Boulevard to Moreland. Crash continues to block 2 left lanes. Heavy westbound 16th to Mitchell Boulevard. 43 heavy North Highland to Keefe Avenue. Southbound backed up through the Marquette. I'm Mike Priest, and that's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Looking for affordable blinds, shades, or shutters for your home? Don't hire an expensive pro. Check out Blindster.com, where we offer custom-made window coverings at guaranteed low prices with a team of pros ready to help you every step of the way. Blindster.com.
I don't have time for a home project this year. I don't want to deal with the home improvement dragging on and on.
It doesn't have to. Hi, Colleen with Tri-County Contracting. If a new roof is needed this year, we can make the entire project move quickly and be worry-free. No responsibility will be on your shoulders. We'll take care of everything. Worry-free roofing is an instant roof quote button right on our website, tricountycontractingwi.com. Name, address, and email, and you will have your price. Worry-free roofing is a fast and easy estimate process. Worry-free roofing is out with that old, tired, leaking roof and in with a new, beautiful dimensional shingle roof. Worry-free roofing is a quick and annoyance-free roof install. No material or dumpster sitting for days or weeks. Most homes are completed in just one day. Worry-free roofing is a lifetime product warranty and a lifetime workmanship warranty. It's also getting free enrollment in the Every Year Inspection Program, where you get a free roof inspection and maintenance every year for 10 years. Worry-free roofing, siding, and windows. Tri-County Contracting.
Warshawski trial attorney Frank Crivello here. Folks, I'm Victor Harding. Frank is selected Best Lawyers 2024 Complex Litigation Lawyer of the Year. More impressive is Victor Harding named Product Liability Attorney of the Year again for 2024. It may sound boastful to mention these prestigious awards. It's not boastful considering if you or someone you love is injured, you need to know 2 attorneys from the same personal injury firm being chosen by other lawyers and judges for these caliber of awards is very rare. Heaven forbid you ever need an injury claim made on your behalf. If you do, the quality of your attorney and law firm will have a the outcome than even the facts of your case. Former clients, other lawyers, judges, law enforcement officers, and even insurance adjusters, often our adversaries, refer their family and friends to Warshawski because they know Warshawski will achieve maximum compensation. Injured? It is about the money. Warshawski.com. That's Warshawski.com.
Fletcher Arms Spring Cleaning Sale is here. All cleaning supplies are 15% off Friday through Sunday, including firearm cleaning kits, cleaning supplies, bore snakes, cleaning mats, suppressor cleaning kits, and more. Get more savings with one of our ammo can cleaning bundles starting at $49.99. Includes a cleaning kit, cleaning mat, pads, brush, an ammo can, and a 50% off coupon for our new gun owner seminar. Spring cleaning sale this weekend at Fletcher Arms, your friendly family-run shooting destination since 1978.
Josh from Infinity here. The exterior remodeling industry is notorious for wild price disparities and hidden costs. Infinity has revolutionized the exterior remodeling experience. Our custom-built app is your window into our world of clear, accurate pricing.
MJ here. No more guesswork. No more unpleasant surprises. Every detail, all materials are clear for you to see. Absolute pricing transparency makes Infinity the most trusted roofing and exterior remodeling company in the Midwest.
We built Infinity on a foundation of integrity. More than installing roofs, siding, and windows, Infinity installs peace of mind, building lifelong relationships with our customers.
Infinity's proprietary app is an extension of our commitment, providing exact line item pricing, something unheard of in roofing and exterior remodeling.
Infinity's unmatched buying power saves you money. We pay less, you pay less. Infinity provides multiple budget options real time. Everything is at your fingertips, including financing options before we leave your home.
Warranted, guaranteed quality, installing peace of mind. InfinityRoofing.com.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules. All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the NX Wealth Management Studios. NX Wealth Management. Know the difference.
How do you define strength? Is it physical? Or is it mental? Maybe it's both. Maybe it's whatever empowers a person to dig deeper, fight harder, and overcome obstacles that once seemed insurmountable. Discover how much stronger and more confident your children can be. Encourage them to participate in a sport when they go to high school.
This message presented by the Wisconsin Interscholastic Athletic Association and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
Welcome back to the Dan O'Donnell Show, a tour de force of truth, the sort of truth the rest of the media used to report before the spin, and now outright advocacy for one political side. Look, I know I'm on the right. I'm just honest about it. If you haven't heard me say conservative thought, not just talk, you haven't been listening carefully enough. And look, I know that you work hard all day. Hopefully not too hard on a beautiful sunny Friday afternoon like today, but you can't keep track of all of the goings on. And since this White House is working faster and it appears harder than any other before it, we decided here on the Dan O'Donnell Show that we need to update you each day on all of the goings on that you might have missed while you were at work. That's why it is time now to present to you here on the Dan O'Donnell Show your daily Trump date.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning.
Well, a whole lot of winning for the Trump administration.
We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
The Dow Jones Industrial Average up 1.5%, capping one of the most volatile weeks on Wall Street ever. Meanwhile, the S&P 500 up 95 points. The NASDAQ, that's about 1.8%. The NASDAQ up 2%, up 337 points to 16,000. It was a week of ups and downs that ended with some optimism. Even though China today responded to U.S. tariffs on its goods by raising its own tariffs on U.S. imports to 125% from 84%, it appears they left the door open for negotiations. The Chinese Finance Ministry said this would be the last of China's retaliatory tariff increases, even if Trump continues to raise the rates on Chinese imports. This signals that the Chinese can't keep going tit for tat. And it seems as though the Trump administration recognizes it. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said today President Trump is optimistic that China is going to make a deal.
The president wants to do what's right for the American people. He wants to see fair trade practices around the globe, and that's his intention and his goal.
So is he waiting for China to make the first move here?
I'm not going to comment on communications that are happening or may not be happening, or either way. We'll leave it to our national security team to get these discussions underway. And as always, in the effort of transparency, we will provide updates moving forward. But the president has made it very clear he's open to a deal with China.
Why is he optimistic that China's going to make a deal or wants to make a deal? If they're not talking, where's that optimism?
He's optimistic.
He is optimistic, and frankly, so too are the American people. Now, it's not just about finances. It's not just about tariffs. With the Trump administration, it's also about immigration. And just within the last hour, pro-Palestine demonstrator / agitator / terror sympathizer Khalil Mahmoud has been ruled to be deportable. And also, according to federal courts, the Trump administration has met that burden to deport him. Now, this comes as today is the deadline for all foreign nationals currently present in the United States for longer than 30 days to register with the government or else face immediate deportation. Once again, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
The deadline for registration under the Alien Registration Act is today. All foreign nationals present in the United States longer than 30 days must register with the federal government. Failure to comply with this is a crime, punishable by fines, imprisonment, or both. As President Trump and Secretary Noem have both said, if you register and you leave now, you choose to self-deport. You may have the opportunity to return later legally. But if not, you will be arrested, fined, deported, never to return to our country again.
During today's White House press briefing, Leavitt also announced that the Trump administration is in direct talks with Russia on ending the Ukraine war and is planning on direct talks in the very near future with Iran on its nuclear program. Meanwhile, Education Secretary Linda McMahon has announced a Title IX team to investigate groups that allow men to compete in women's sports.
What I'm announcing today is that we have a special Title IX investigations team that is going to be investigating anyone who was associated with this to make sure that this doesn't continue to happen. This team is a combination between Department of Education and the Department of Justice. The president has made crystal clear that he is not going to tolerate men being able to compete in women's sports. He signed an executive order, and we're upholding Title IX. We just couldn't be any clearer about this. And so for those who violate these provisions, we will investigate and take action.
Finally, today, President Trump has weighed in on the issue of daylight saving time. He wants legislators to take action, posting on both Truth Social and X. The House and Senate should push hard for more daylight at the end of the day. This comes after the Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation held a hearing yesterday on ending daylight saving time or possibly on extending it permanently. We will discuss that in greater depth in the 5 o'clock hour. It's always a great debate here on the Dan O'Donnell Show, but this has been your Daily Trump Date.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
Through Waukesha County, eastbound 94 remains trashed. Grandview Boulevard to Moreland with a crash blocking 2 left lanes. Southbound 43 is packed from Capitol through the Marquette to the KK River. I'm Mike Priest, and that's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Looking for affordable blinds, shades, or shutters for your home? Don't hire an expensive pro. Check out Blindster.com, where we offer custom-made window coverings at guaranteed low prices with a team of pros ready to help you every step of the way. Blindster.com.
2 good things are almost here. Warmer weather and my podcast. The Mark Belling Podcast begins May 1st as I tackle Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and the world. There will be nothing like it because there is nothing like it.
The Mark Belling Podcast is presented by Uline Shipping and Industrial Supplies. Ship same day for fast delivery. Visit uline.com. The Mark Belling Podcast is also supported by Cunis Auto and RV. Starting May 1st, the Mark Belling Podcast will be available at iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm attorney Tom Grieve, here to tell you about Grieve Civil Law. Life is unpredictable, but you can help your loved ones navigate dark days by preparing for the future now. Powers of attorney, wills, and trusts are all components to a robust estate plan that ensures your wishes are fulfilled. Do you think your estate is simple or should be executed using common sense? In many cases, the law cannot take into account how complicated families are. If you or your heirs are divorced, or if your heirs get divorced in the future, your assets may not go where you intend. Many people say that they will get a will, but they never get around to it. Their loved ones often pay for their lack of planning in the time and stress of probate, not to mention court fees. On top of their grief, they'll wrestle with red tape and resentment. Don't gamble your life's work. Don't gamble with your family's future. Protect just a document, it's peace of mind. Contact Grieve Civil Law today because tomorrow isn't guaranteed. GrieveCivilLaw.com.
We didn't write the headline. The Wall Street Journal did. The days of set and forget investing just ended for many Americans. Economic uncertainty and global unrest. It's a wake-up call. Standard financial advice is to avoid making rash decisions during market turmoil. But retirement planning isn't a set it and forget it process anymore. That's where Annex Wealth Management comes in. As fee-only fiduciaries, we craft personalized plans that adapt as needed. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Head to AnnexWealth.com and click the Get Started button.
Grandview buys homes. Let us help you sell your loved one's home. We'll buy your home completely as is. Get a fair cash offer in 48 hours and close on the day you choose. Take only the belongings you want and leave the stress and the mess to us. GrandviewHomes.com.
Refi Trust allows securing money for future needs, both yours and your family's. You pay monthly into a whole life insurance policy because you can? Having achieved financial security and successfully raised your children, is the ever-increasing premium worth the cash value going forward? At Refi Trust, we don't think so. Regardless of your whole life insurance death benefit, if you need extended care or end-of-life care, the cash value of your policy is subject to attachment by creditors, nursing homes, and Medicaid. Crazy, hey? Paying for decades and even money to cover funeral expenses for your family is gone. Cashing whole life in is subject to taxes and fees, so you keep paying every month, right? With Refi Trust, refinance matured savings bonds, certificates of deposit, and whole life with zero taxes or fees, protecting assets from creditors, nursing homes, and Medicaid, guaranteeing your asset will be used as you see fit or handed down to your heirs tax-free. Refi Trust, your assets, your choice. RefiTrust.com. That's RefiTrust.com.
Hi, I'm Willa Voss. I'm 8 years old. Mom and Dad own Cut and Go Tree Service. Yes, they did name me after a tree. Our family loves this country and the freedom it provides. Every morning, I look forward to starting the school day with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please say it along with me, even if you just say it in your mind. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. American patriots will enjoy a 5% discount for flying the American flag and mentioning this commercial when the Cut and Go remote control, automobile mounted, articulated crane, grapple saw operators are putting your dead trees on the ground or removing large branches that grew over something important. An all-American Tons of Trees movement, cutandgotrees.com. That's CUTNGOTREES.com.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 20% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
Roger Caron was 16 when first convicted.
Has spent 24 of those years in jail.
12 years in solitary.
Broke out of jail more than you ever prison in Canada.
The Go Boy podcast is the gritty true crime story of daring prison escapes, risky bank robberies, and swift police arrests. And the man who fought his way out of some of the darkest places imaginable to go from an ex-con to a best-selling author almost overnight. Open your free iHeartRadio app, search Go Boy, and start listening today.
You ready? Let's go.
That deadly helicopter crash in New York City killed a top Siemens executive from Spain and his family. The pilot was also killed. A total of 6 people killed in that New York City helicopter crash. It plunged into the icy Hudson River, turning a family outing above Manhattan's misty skyline into a tragedy. CNN.com. The helicopter carried 6 people, including 3 children and their parents, who have both worked for Siemens, a German multinational technology conglomerate. It lifted off from a Manhattan heliport and followed a familiar route circling the Statue of Liberty, gliding north along the Hudson toward the George Washington Bridge, and then turning south. About 16 minutes after takeoff, the aircraft crashed into the water. It is still under investigation, but a lot of people are pointing to the Jesus nut. And that is a piece of it's a nut that essentially holds the blades of the rotor in place. And the reason it's called the Jesus nut is because you have to pray to Jesus if that thing goes. That's what helicopter pilots will say. You might remember years and years and years ago, there was something of a scandal. It was at the hotel shooting in Brookfield. Do you remember? It was during the religious ceremony where the guy opened fire. Well, I believe it was Channel 4. It might have been Channel 6. I think it was Channel 4. They were playing helicopter video from the surveillance of the shot of was it the Sheraton Hotel, the shooting? And you could hear the pilot, and it got through on the air, and he said something about a Jesus nut. And people just jumped to conclusions thinking, what? And it said he's making fun of some Jesus nut opened fire at church. No, he was talking about the literal Jesus nut on the helicopter. Now, I have already seen in the wake of this people once again trying to blame Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. There is one liberal writer who would love nothing more than for me to mention his name. Sean Duffy, what are you doing? Not thinking, of course, that the actual data would completely disprove the point that somehow airline travel, helicopters, and airfare in general has gotten more dangerous under President Trump. I actually went to the NTSB's own website to get their month-by-month data of accidents or occurrences. Now, there are roughly 28 accidents or occurrences, things that would cause a plane to turn around or something like that, amongst air carriers, so passenger aircraft. There are a whole lot more amongst cargo planes. In total, there were 78 accidents or occurrences in the month of February. And that's the month, it's the first full month of the Trump administration and the last month for which there's full data available. 78. In February of 2021, there were 90. 2022, 99. 2023, 82. 2024, 93. Those years are the 4 Februaries that Joe Biden was president. During the Biden administration, there were an average of 91 accidents or occurrences, according to the NTSB's data, involving passenger or carrier planes or helicopters or anything else. 91. There were 78 under Trump. Now, this should be a lesson that media hype, I call it the shark attack syndrome, that whenever there is a shark attack, it happens so infrequently as to be statistically almost zero. Very rare sharks attack humans. Very, very rare human beings die as a result of shark attacks. Simply put, sharks don't want to eat us. But the way that they test to see if something is food is by biting it. It doesn't taste like food. They swim away. Well, when something is 1,000 pounds and it is filled with knife-sharp teeth, they can do a lot more damage than maybe they intend to. But when the media focuses on shark attacks, people have a tendency, and I believe this effect was studied, people tend to believe that there are way more shark attacks than there are. Now, when the media is in hysteria regarding plane crashes, and there was a very horrible one off of Washington, D.C., the crash into the Potomac River. There was the one where the plane landed upside down in Toronto. I mean, there were very high-profile incidents. But when you had the media trying to put the focus and blame on President Trump for supposedly purging air traffic controllers and making it far more dangerous to fly, you get the mistaken impression, even amongst people who you would think would know better, that it's more dangerous to fly than it ever has before. Statistically speaking, this February was it was the safest February in the past 5 years to fly. If anything, airplane travel has gotten a lot safer than it was under Biden. Same thing in January. Now, Trump was only president for 11 days in January, but there were 67 incidents or occurrences reported then. 80 in 2024, 90 in 2023, 82 in 2022, 74 in 2021. Was it something Trump did that everything got magically safer? No. There is a wide range of potential outcomes. Plane crashes and occurrences, and this is not crashes. This is like there's a system failure, there's something, a window they call it an occurrence because they don't want to freak anybody out at the NTSB. So I just thought we had to bust a little myth there. We talk about daylight saving, plus how bizarre when the Dan O'Donnell Show returns.
From the Lynch GM Superstore in Burlington Total Traffic Center.
Eastbound 94 still solid from Highway 16 to Moreland Boulevard, but the crash has been cleared. All lanes back open. Then you're slow from Mitchell to 35th. Westbound heavy 25th to Mitchell Boulevard. I'm Mike Priest, and that's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Looking for affordable blinds, shades, or shutters for your home? Don't hire an expensive pro. Check out Blindster.com, where we offer custom-made window coverings at guaranteed low prices with a team of pros ready to help you every step of the way. Blindster.com.
Bob here for Redefine Realty, powered by EasyHomeBidder.com.
Brian here. I was in the market to buy my first home. I rushed to see houses the day they went live on MLS. Made offers on 5 houses before finally getting the 6th accepted. I would increase my bid on all 5 of the other houses I didn't get, but never got the chance.
Brian's story is tragic for Brian, but also for sellers. Brian would have paid more for each of the 5 houses he didn't get. That's 5 sellers guided by traditional MLS agents who sold their home for less than they could have. Redefined Realty, powered by EasyHomeBidder.com's auction platform and MLS, would have earned all 5 Wisconsin area home sellers more money. A lot more money. Selling a fixer-upper, a duplex, a condo, a $400,000 home, or a multi-million-dollar home. When buyers bid, sellers win. In fact, when buyers bid, buyers win too. Heck, everybody wins at Redefined Realty and EasyHomeBidder.com. Buyers win, sellers win. Obvious, but revolutionary. When buyers win, sellers win. It's real estate for winners. RedefinedRealty.com.
Hi, this is David Wilhelm, here to tell our customers that we take great pride in your loyalty. So thank you for making your clear choice for more Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
Your clear choice for more Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
Grandma? In kitchen. Did you put these flyers in Lithuanian all over the neighborhood?
Yeah.
Okay, I know Kavelius is fool. What's the rest say?
Use translation app.
Oh boy. Okay, don't be a fool. Take excellent financial lesson with Grandma.
One lesson, $25.
You need money for something you need money for? Get a First American Bank home equity line of credit.
It's smart.
Don't get a credit card loan.
It's stupid.
Because First American Bank
has best loan deals in town. Okay, now read Big Finish.
If you get a credit card loan and not a First American Bank home equity line of credit, you could pay 2.5 times more in interest. Isn't this a bad word?
Very.
Grandma, everything you said about First American Bank is correct, but charging people $25, I don't know, come on.
You are right. Should be $100. Help me fix flyers.
First American Bank, the bank that does more for your money. Visit firstambank.com or call us at 262-577-2400. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
They said that building an outdoor kitchen bigger than your indoor kitchen would be crazy. But when you consider all the possibilities of a TrueStone Financial home equity loan with an APR as low as 5.74% and for a limited time, no closing costs, well, the sizzling burgers on that built-in grill, they say otherwise. A TrueStone home equity loan is flexible financing for just about everything, even outdoor kitchens. It's true, because we're TrueStone. Get cooking at truestone.org. Terms and conditions apply. Closing cost offer not valid with competing offers or promotions. Equal housing opportunity.
Restoring your home or business to its natural beauty is our only business. We are Wisconsin's most trusted carpet cleaner for over 75 years.
Edelman Carpet, Furniture, and Drapery Cleaning.
It's Edelman again. Edelman.
Love your home, but not your blinds? If your window treatments are broken, hard to use, or just outdated, it's time to upgrade. For nearly 100 years, Bayview Shade and Blind has been helping families like yours find the perfect window treatments. Beautiful, easy to use, and built to last. No more broken blinds, no more hassle, just stylish shades, blinds, and drapery that make your home shine. Learn more at BayviewShade.com, sharing a little sunshine from our family to yours.
There's only one store that gives you every possible choice in diamonds.
Welcome to Kessler's.
There are some rules you must adhere to when it comes to having a home office. I'm Hillary Barsky with your Fox Business Tax Tip coming up.
Kudlow on Fox Business is now on the go for podcast fans. Get key interviews with the biggest business newsmakers of the day. The Kudlow podcast will be available on the go after the show every weekday at foxbusinesspodcasts.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
If you have a home office, the space has to be used exclusively for work purposes. CPA and tax attorney Alan J. Strauss says,
if you're using a spare bedroom as your home office, and occasionally your mother-in-law comes to visit and sleeps in the bedroom, that disqualifies the place as your home office.
The other requirement
is that it has to be used predominantly as your home office. You don't have any other space to use.
Now the IRS offers a simplified method where you can deduct a flat rate per square foot, but it's only available for self-employed individuals. Hillary Barsky, Fox News.
Listen to Clay and Buck weekdays 11 to 2 on News Talk 1130 WISN Milwaukee, and make WISN the #1 preset on your car radio and on the new iHeart app. Free never sounded so good.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Michaels. 25 years. That's a sentence for a man convicted of killing 2 people in a construction zone in Pewaukee. Fox 6's Jenna Sachs.
Prosecutors say Jade Moen hit 76-year-old Branch Calisak's car and kept going near Capitol and Pewaukee Road last June. Alvarez was building a traffic island at the time. Another worker, Kyle Perkins, was badly hurt.
And candidates for state Democratic Party chair in Wisconsin are already lining up.
Current chair Ben Wickler won't seek a 4th 2-year term. Former state party executive director Devin Remaker is running to succeed him. WisPolitics reports that Glendale Mayor Brian Kennedy and 3rd Congressional District Chair William Garcia are expected to make announcements in the next several days. Bob Haig, Wisconsin Radio Network.
Checking the Holiday Automotive Fond du Lac Sports Scoreboard. It's the Brewers and Diamondbacks tonight in Arizona. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Dave Michaels on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Here's the latest forecast presented by AdventKnows.com from the Fox 6 weather experts.
A few clouds tonight with temperatures falling into the low and mid-30s by morning. Sunny to start Saturday, then some afternoon clouds and highs in the mid-50s lakeside, low 60s inland. There is a chance for a few showers at times Sunday. I'm Fox 6 meteorologist Stephanie Barrichello.
This report is sponsored by Cordell & Cordell.
Cordell & Cordell. Divorce and Family Law. 866-323-7529. 111 East Kilbourne Avenue, Suite 1650, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 53202. CordellCordell.com.
Bob from Redefined Realty here. I'd written my own ads for 20 years.
Creative genius. Here. Same. Well, Inet's ads and 100 other businesses' ads.
Writing your own ads, you kind of get stuck repeating the same message. Different words, but the same perspective.
Before introducing Easy Home Bidder, Bob came to Inet to brand his brainchild, MLS Listing Backed by Auction. It's brilliant. MLS guarantees the home is found. Auction guarantees the highest sale price. Period.
Inet branded it, wrote our story, knocked our marketing out of the park. When you think of selling your home, you know MLS and auction together is the right choice.
Redefined also benefits from unparalleled radio buying power, industry influence, and extracurricular enhancement of being part of the Inet community. More than 1,000 businesses working together for each other's successes.
Websites, branding, design, video, and radio. Inet is improving the economy one business at a time.
InetDishWeb.com.
CreativeGeniusMarketing.com.
Buyers, sellers, real estate for winners. RedefinedRealty.com.
Hey, you! Yeah, you! Now's the perfect time to get even stronger at Planet Fitness. Save $28 or more when you join today for just $1 down, $15 a month. Mix up your routine or create a customized workout plan with free fitness training. That's right, certified trainers, unlimited sessions with best-in-class equipment. Plus, there's over 2,700 convenient locations to choose from, with most open 24 hours. Save $28 or more today when you join Planet Fitness for just $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends April 11th. See Home Club for details.
Hey, it's Dan O'Donnell. I heard from a lot of people that their power went out during this last snowstorm, some for just an hour, but others for days. That's scary and it's frustrating. I have a solution. Current Electric is your standby emergency power generator superhero. When the power goes out, a standby generator detects the outage and automatically powers on to keep your family warm and safe. Go to callcurrent.com to set up a no stress, no pressure, completely free conversation about your home. That's callcurrent.com.
Skip waiting for a table and enjoy a homemade fish fry every Friday at Sendik's. Enjoy 3 pieces of beer-battered Northern Atlantic cod, fried shrimp, walleye fillets, or baked cod. Each include your choice of original potato pancakes or French fries, and all the fixings like fresh rye bread, creamy coleslaw, homemade applesauce, and Sendik's tartar sauce. Every Friday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. at your neighborhood Sendik's. Sendik's Food Markets, your trusted local grocer.
Been in a car accident and unsure where to go for repairs? Choose One Collision County Line, one of the largest family-owned collision repair shops in Milwaukee. With over 40 years of experience, we work with all insurance companies and guarantee high-quality repairs. Our certified technicians ensure your vehicle is repaired safely, with a warranty for as long as you own it. Remember, when an accident happens, go to the experts at One Collision County Line. Visit us today or get an estimate online at the1collisioncountyline.com.
Kowal Investment Group, now Creative Planning, is a registered investment advisor. Now for your business report from Creative Planning. For informational purposes only, past performance is not indicative of future results.
Good afternoon. I'm Chartered Retirement Planning Counselor Joe Still with your closing business report. The major averages climbed higher today as Wall Street closed out a wild week. Stocks rose amid the latest tariff development between the U.S. and China, in which the White House signaled that President Trump is optimistic China will seek a deal. Elsewhere, the benchmark 10-year Treasury yield continued to rise to its highest level since February, touching 4.5%, a massive 66 basis point swing from Monday's low of 3.87%, and the biggest week since November of 2021. On the day, the Dow was up 619 to 40,212. The S&P 500 rose 95, and the Nasdaq was higher by 337 points. From the Kowal Investment Group, now Creative Planning, I'm Joe Still.
This really is the fastest moving 3 hours in media. I truly feel like that. I hope you do too. If you're saying, nah, Dan, it feels like it's actually on hour 6 right now. I was just thinking, man, where did the last 2 hours go? I feel like I actually talked about something significant. Now, however, something that you will rarely get on the Dan O'Donnell Show. By the way, welcome back to it. A reminder that on Monday, we will once again be bribing you to listen to me. It is the Spring Green Cash Contest, starting up once again, $1,000 on the line each and every hour of the Dan O'Donnell Show, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 5 o'clock p.m. It all starts on Monday. We are going to have winners galore. There may be so much win. You may win so much, you may get tired of winning. I still think, for my money, the funniest thing Trump ever said was at that rally when he talked about, we use it for our daily Trump date, at least an abbreviated version for it. We cut out the part, which is really one of the funniest parts, just for sound, where he says, you're going to say, Mr. President, no, I'm tired of winning. Mr. President, please, we can't take anymore. And I'll say, no, we have to win more. We're going to win more. That was, I think, from early 2016. It was when he was campaigning the first time for president. It was one of the funniest things I have ever heard a politician say. I actually think it is the funniest thing. I could not stop laughing when I first heard it. And all these years later, it is still true. We are winning so much, yet I am still not tired of winning. All right. Something you rarely hear on the Dan O'Donnell Show. I do not have a strong opinion one way or another about an issue that you might not think is all that important, but actually impacts every man, woman, child, animal, plant, and everything else in this country. What time is it right now? It's 5:08, but could it actually be 4:08? President Trump has now weighed in on the debate over daylight saving time, saying the House and Senate should push hard for more daylight at the end of a day. Very popular. And most importantly, no more changing of the clocks. A big inconvenience and, for our government, a very costly event. And he actually signed it DJT, meaning this was actually composed by the man himself. Now, he was responding to Senator Rick Scott's Sunshine Protection Act, looking at locking the clocks, I should say, on daylight saving time, which began March 9th. Scott's bill was heard in a Senate committee hearing yesterday. It does have bipartisan support. And in that hearing, Scott listed off several argued benefits of locking the clocks, reducing car crashes, increasing physical activity and thus physical fitness, keeping economic activity up, making employees feel more productive, and keeping farmer schedules stable and consistent. Most of those, I'm not entirely sure of the benefits, but then again, I am not entirely sure what I think about daylight saving time going away, becoming permanent, or not changing at all. Ladies and gentlemen, that is where you come in. The last time we talked about this was when this measure was first introduced. Senator Marco Rubio was a big proponent of it. Of course, he is now the Secretary of State. He was the one who tried introducing it multiple times. I don't know what it is about those guys from Florida, but they really, really, really want to get rid of changing the clocks because now Senator Rick Scott has taken up that mantle. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? I want you to convince me because I genuinely, I guess I'm okay with changing the clocks. No, I don't particularly like losing an hour. Give us a call, 414-799-1130 on the adventknows.com talk and text line, or toll free, 1-800-838-9476. You can also make your best argument via text on the adventknows.com talk and text line. You can email me, dod@iheartmedia.com. I am also available on X or Facebook, both at Dan O'Donnell Show there. Coming up later this hour, How Bizarre, our weekly look back at the strangest stories of the past 7 days, and much, much more. Frankly, I haven't really heard a compelling argument for changing the clocks that would make me think, okay, yes. Now, if I would have my druthers, I guess we would be on daylight saving time all the time, but the very strong argument against it, and it is a very, very strong argument, is that for most school children, especially here in Wisconsin and in northern states, they'd be waiting for buses in the wintertime when it's pitch black out. In other words, we sort of maximize the amount of daylight where kids are off at school by doing it the way that we do, changing the clocks. Typically, when it will get dark the earliest, it's about 4:30 p.m., give or take. I know sunset may be a little earlier, but for all intents and purposes, it's pitch black by about 4:30 p.m. December 21st, the winter solstice. And then it's not light by the time Paul and I leave for the day at 6:30 p.m., whenever it is after the show's over, until we spring ahead. So selfishly, I would love to get out of work and have it still be sunny out all 12 months of the year. However, for a lot of kids who have to go wait for the bus, we want them to get off the bus, and usually what's the latest that a kid is going to get off a bus? 3:30, maybe 4 o'clock p.m.? Well, what time are they getting on and waiting for the bus in the morning? 7 a.m. all the way through to about 8 a.m.? Do we really want them waiting in the dark? Do we really want morning drive, the morning commute, to be done in the dark? And that, I think, is the biggest argument against. However, again, it's light way later. You could have, weather dependent, of course, outdoor soccer practices, even when you don't have lights. And let me tell you something, friends, as a soccer coach, it gets real frustrating later in that fall season when you simply can't do anything past about 5:30 p.m., long about middle of October, because it's simply too dark. All right. I genuinely don't have a strong opinion either way. Dan in New Berlin does, though, and he is up first on the Dan O'Donnell Show. What's going on, Dan? You're on the air.
Thank you, Dan, and good job on the show.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it.
So I was like you, where I didn't care either way until I lived on the west side of a time zone. And being a contractor in Wisconsin, I was used to starting at 7 a.m., Also, I'm on the west side of the time zone, and it doesn't even get light until 8 in the morning. And that's when I realized that changing the clocks really didn't change anything. The sun's going to do what the sun does.
Yeah.
You were talking about soccer practice. You just have to schedule around that. There's no law that says we have to start the school kids at a certain time in the morning.
There isn't.
It can be. And so changing the clock, really all that does is throw everyone's rhythm off, and it just you're trying to schedule around nature.
So are you saying get rid of daylight saving or have permanent daylight saving time, or don't you care either way?
I would, at this point, from what my life experience, I'd get rid of it.
Okay.
So
it would be basically, it would be 4:15 p.m. right now is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. So we would have a lot more daytime in the summertime, but conversely, we would have a lot less light in the morning and wintertime.
Oh, well, again, you can change the schedule. There's nothing written in law that school has to start at 7 in the morning. They could just account for the change in how much daylight they have in winter and starting them at 8 in the morning.
That's fair, but I guess my issue would be, and thank you very much, Dan. I do want to get to a bunch of other callers. I get that argument, and I think it is a very sound one. The reality is, though, for people's schedules, for dinner, for after school activities, you really can't have kids starting the day at 9 a.m. and then going to 4 p.m., although that probably would be much better for their overall health. I was never a big fan. When I was in high school, we started at 7:15 a.m. Period one started at 7:15 a.m. I rolled out of bed about as late as I possibly could at about 6:35 every morning. I mean, that's rough. My middle son, they have to leave by about 7 a.m. to get to school. I think it starts at 7:25. And he got to sleep in this morning because he had to go to the doctor in the morning. And he left when my daughter, who's still in elementary school, she gets out of bed and goes, wow, it's awesome being able to sleep in that extra hour. Let's go to Ron in Waukesha. I am sympathetic to the idea that we just kind of start school later. Ron in Waukesha, you're on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Hello, Dan. Listen, I grew up on a farm and everything else, and we woke up when the sun came up. We went down when the sun went down. It didn't really matter. We didn't look at a clock. What we did was we just worked around the earth. Hey, this is the way it is. I don't think we need these changes. I think if the kids get used to it, everybody's going to get used to it, and we're all going to go ahead and make our way, just like everybody else that is not on this time change.
Just out of curiosity, though, do you still go to bed when the sun goes down?
9 times out of 10, yes, I do, and 9 times out of 10, my clock wakes me up. It might still be dark out.
So you're telling me
my body wakes me up.
You're telling me at Christmas, on Christmas Eve, you go to bed at 4:30 p.m.
Well, whenever it gets dark out or whenever I'm tired, I go to sleep. Whenever I'm hungry.
Okay, whenever you're tired. 4:30 p.m. I went, Ron, I'm not partying with you on New Year's Eve. Let's just put it that way. I'm tired. I could sleep now. I actually did have a little nap in my office because I was tired. Yeah, go ahead.
Here's
Ron.
one more point I'd like to make real fast.
Sure.
I worked for Quad Graphics for 5 years, 7 to 7. I never saw daylight for 6 months out of the year.
And that sucks, man. That I hear that. Oh, that I
went to work at dark and I got home in dark.
That is
never saw the sunlight.
Because you know what? I just in my first few months of working I did last year and the year before filling in for Mark, but it kind of dawned on me that like for 6 months out of the year, I am just not going to see the sun after work. So selfishly, I would very much like to have permanent daylight saving time. Like screw all the rest of you. You know, I'm with Ron. I'm going to bed as soon as it gets dark. I knew what he was saying. I couldn't resist having a little fun. But my point is that, okay, yes, I mean, human beings we are designed to essentially our bodies start to, kind of slow down after we are meant to be in the sun. We are not meant to be nocturnal creatures. And we sort of have those rhythms, but to suggest somehow that, okay, we need to go back to, where we were when we were in agrarian society. I mean, we went through all the trouble of inventing an electric light bulb so we would be able to light our world after the sun went down. The concept of daylight saving, by the way, the idea was to be able to make better use of daylight for our agricultural community. All right, we have two people who say change it. Jeff in Menominee Falls is up next. You say, Jeff, keep it the way it is.
Yeah, just leave it the way it is. You were talking about kids standing out in the dark and everything else. I drive truck and I deliver through the rural Wisconsin, like Ripon and all that area. Everybody's sitting out there in their car with the kid in the car. So it's not like they're standing out in the dark. Everybody's got
no, and that's true. That is very true. It's not like if the kids are in the dark, that I guess is my only concern. Not every parent, though, is able to be home. And I am talking admittedly about a hypothetical concern. I guess the issue would be, more generally speaking, that it would just be very, very dark, very late into the morning, which frankly, I don't really mind all that much. Again, I don't have, and I will freely admit this, that I don't have and have not had for pretty much my entire adult life, the typical 9 to 5, 8 to 4 schedule. I haven't. I have a career where, you're kind of working all the time and at the same time, never. I mean, I don't have to be at work, quote unquote, at any point except 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. So I could be, doing my work or not working or doing whatever I want. I don't have to punch a clock and get in. At the same time, though, I'm constantly working. I'm constantly thinking about what is going into this show, what I'm going to talk about. I'm constantly taking phone calls from sources and talking to people and just trying to better get informed about what's going on so I can pass it on to you. It doesn't really matter when I do that or where I do that or how I do that. So I will fully admit that I don't have quite as much skin in the game. I mean, my kids are older, but one's driving, another one will be driving in a year and a half. Like, I don't care. Although, that said, I would like it to be lighter longer when they are driving because it's more dangerous driving at night. We are going to take some more phone calls about this. It's always a spirited debate. I have not been convinced one way or another. More phone calls next. I know they're passionate. That's why I love it. Keep them coming.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
4145 slow south from Appleton to Capitol. Then on the bypass, you're backed up southbound from Beloit through the Hale, the Forest Home. 94 with westbound delays, 25th to Mitchell. I'm Mike Priest, and that's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag. You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. Like the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag with a JBC, 4-piece nugs, fries, and a small soft drink. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon, all the time. Duh. For the best deal, gotta be Wendy's. U.S. price and participation may vary.
It's never been done before. iHeartRadio and America's favorite TV show, Wheel of Fortune, come together for 1 week only. Music lovers from across the country play for incredible iHeartRadio experiences.
iHeartRadio Jingle Ball Concert.
Music Festival.
iHeartRadio Music Award.
And you can win too. Play along all week at wheeloffortune.com and you could find yourself at an unforgettable iHeartRadio event.
Start spinning. Good luck.
All this week.
iHeartRadio Week on Wheel of Fortune with me, Ryan Seacrest. Check it out.
They said that building an outdoor kitchen bigger than your indoor kitchen would be crazy. But when you consider all the possibilities of a TrueStone Financial home equity loan with an APR as low as 5.74% and for a limited time, no closing costs, well, the sizzling burgers on that built-in grill, they say otherwise. A TrueStone home equity loan is flexible financing for just about everything, even outdoor kitchens. It's true, because we're TrueStone. Get cooking at truestone.org. Terms and conditions apply. Closing cost offer not valid with competing offers or promotions. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey, Milwaukee, Sendix is celebrating 99 years as your trusted local grocer. This week, check out anniversary deals like Sendix Natural Black Angus Ground Sirloin for just $5.99 a pound. Premium Icelandic cod fillets are just $4.99 a pound. And 1 pound packages of premium Driscoll strawberries are just $2 for $6. With savings like these, now that's a reason to celebrate. Sendix Food Markets, your trusted local grocer.
We're the Libby family
at Do-It-Yourself Bathroom Center near State Fair on 62nd and Greenfield.
If your bathroom needs work, we're the place to go.
Our people really know their stuff, and we install.
Plus, nobody beats our prices. Remember our slogan,
I did it myself at Do-It-Yourself.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell for Mander Collision and Glass, now with 7 locations to serve you across the greater Milwaukee area. Start your repair right now at mandercollision.com. Mander truly is the best decision after a collision.
Neglecting concrete or asphalt problems is like neglecting a cavity. It isn't going to fix itself, and the longer you leave it, the worse it is going to get. And the more it's going to cost to fix.
MudTech's here to save the day. 262-337-0934.
Eliminate unsightly, even dangerous concrete and asphalt problems while increasing your business's curb appeal. Safer, user-friendly concrete and asphalt costs less than you think. MudTech!
262-337-0934.
Better curb appeal brings more tenants, more customers, and happier neighbors.
MudTech! 262-337-0934.
Seal Coat makes old gray asphalt new again. Cracks and plow bending potholes disappear. Trip hazards are quickly and inexpensively raised or replaced back to grade with MudTech. Having Wisconsin's premier pavement technicians repair the damage from washed out concrete and asphalt will double the life of your pavement.
MudTech. 262-337-0934.
MudTech resolves every concrete or asphalt problem, leaving your pavement smooth, your life worry-free, and enough money in your bank to take the kind of trip you want to take. MudTechWorks.com.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avastin capted Pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Are you tired of being tired? Go to adventknows.com.
All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the Annex Wealth Management Studios. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
A lot of very, very good texts on this, whether or not we should eliminate daylight saving time, make daylight saving time permanent, or just leave it the way it is. This is a good point. Standard time would make Wisconsin 7 p.m. or later sunsets only in May through August. This is correct. It'll be dark until almost 9 a.m. It's not difficult to change the clocks. Hi, Paul and Dan. I think there would be less car versus deer incidents if we had an hour more light during afternoon rush. I wish somebody would study this. That comes from Brian. That is a fascinating point. Aaron in West Dallas, I've done the math. Sunset changes by 3 minutes every day, meaning if advocates of daylight saving time could just wait 2 weeks, they would get their way anyway. No changing clocks needed. Let's see what the so-called experts say. Kenneth Wright, who runs the Sleep and Chronobiology Laboratory at the University of Colorado Butler, says the problem with switching to permanent daylight saving time rather than permanent regular time is that mornings will be darker all year round. The American Academy of Sleep Medicine called for eliminating daylight saving time altogether in 2020. In 2023, it had to update its statement, clarifying that it supported switching to permanent standard time, not permanent daylight saving time. Standard time being, what is it now, October through March? Not March through October. Is it October or November? Late October, early November. It is October. Let's go back to the phones. Barb in McWanago up next on the Dan O'Donnell Show. What's going on, Barb?
Hi, thanks for taking my call, Dan.
Of course.
So, they've been doing research on this for quite some time, and it is not very healthy for our circadian rhythms. And this has been proven. There's an increase in heart attacks, strokes, etc. And basically our body, our internal clock, repeats every 24 hours, and it's just not, our body takes a while to get used to it. But the older we get, or anything that we're compromised with our immune system, it actually does have a negative effect on our bodies.
Now, see, that is probably the best argument there is. If you could demonstrate that human circadian rhythms at a massive scale are dramatically impacted by the clock changing, yeah, just like jet lag. It's like a minor jet lag twice a year, Paul. That's a great way of putting it. Barb, I think you have probably made the best point thus far. I think the circadian rhythm, the strain on the heart, I guess I haven't, again, this isn't something that I feel strongly about one way or another. I haven't really delved into the research, to be perfectly frank with you. Dennis in Watertown, you want to keep it the way it is, huh? Dennis, you're on the air.
Yeah,
What's going
I believe
on, buddy?
keep it right now.
Okay, you're saying, excuse me, permanent daylight saving time. Why?
Yep, because why change it? The farming technology, which is one argument to keep it, has changed over the years when they start to implement this. And, okay, the children. The children are the most adaptable people in the world because they don't know anything unless somebody tells them.
Okay, but I guess the issue would be they do know that it's dark out, and it's just a little bit dangerous to have them out there. Another point that was actually made that is a very good one. A lot of lawn care and a lot of outdoor type work depends upon sunshine in the morning. Construction work, perhaps, but the thing I got from 2 or 3 different texters said, all right, well, we need to have it light out in the summer at 6 a.m. so that we're able to get our work done. We're able to squeeze in as many homes in the day. And I guess, okay, that's a decent argument.
Well, wouldn't it be light the same amount of time each day?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it stretches lawn care. Lawn care stretches
Everybody
into,
can
and we're
adjust
just
their
thinking.
schedule.
Well, I know, but we're just thinking about in Wisconsin, where our grass goes dormant by about October 15th, right? I mean, in the South, that's where it's. You know what I'm saying? That's where it's more of a compelling art. We're like, yeah, what the hell do we care? I'm not hiring a lawn guy for like 8 months out of the year. No, I totally get it, but that is a solid argument. Let's go to Rick in Waterford, great friend of the program. What's going on, Rick? You're on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
How you doing, Dan? I'm doing great.
Fantastic.
I would like to keep it the way it is for a couple of reasons. A, I don't want kids going to school in the dark in the morning in the winter. But B, who wants it to be light out at 4:15, 4:30 in the morning in the summer?
You know what? That is actually a great point. One that I didn't consider. I'll tell you who does, who wants it to be light out at 4:15. Our friends at Bayview Shade and Blind, because they would be getting blackout shades for every single human being in Wisconsin. But that's a great point. I mean, people who are, very sensitive to sleeping when it's light out, yeah, you would be getting up far earlier in the summertime. And that's, I guess, great if you've got to make a 7:00 tea time. But for everybody else, that is an excellent point, Rick. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate it. Folks, I know we have got tons and tons and tons of great calls. We do have to get to our weekly segment, How Bizarre, the strangest stories of the past 7 days. Have no fear. I'm sure we will be debating this. I cannot make up my mind which I would prefer. This could go all night. We could still be talking about this on Monday afternoon when we resume for the next busy broadcast week. I'm not going to come down with some great pronouncement. I did take a look real quick at, there is at least one study that suggests there are increased heart attacks as a result of changing the clocks. I guess that doesn't really convince me. The studies just aren't there. The science, pardon me, but the science isn't settled. And I have not been convinced. I have not been convinced enough that we need to make what would amount to a radical change. It does seem. Now, the other one is most other countries don't do daylight saving time, and they're doing just fine, thanks. Arizona appears to be doing just fine. That said, in some very northern climates, we were in Ireland a couple of years ago. It's still light out at like 10 p.m. I mean, you are partying until way late at night. So if you got to get to bed early, sucks to be you, because it's exactly as light out as it is right now here in Wisconsin. All right, we're going to step aside for a break. When we come back, strangest stories of the past week. How bizarre, next on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
Northbound 43 are heavy from Highland to Keefe Avenue. Southbound with delays from Highland through the Marquette to National Avenue. On the bypass, backed up southbound from Beloit through the Hale to Forest Home Avenue. I'm Mike Priest, and that's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Cordell & Cordell.
Cordell & Cordell. Divorce and Family Law. 866-323-7529. 111 East Kilbourne Avenue, Suite 1650, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 53202. CordellCordell.com.
I'm looking for the fastest and easiest way to sell my home, and I keep hearing one name over and over. So I ask people, why Grandview Homes instead of a real estate agent?
I decided that spending the time and money to rehab the unit and sell it through conventional means was not in my best interest.
Right, you were anxious to sell your place quickly, so no time for tours, listings, or any of that. What's the process with Grandview like?
The process with Grandview was virtually effortless. They sent someone out the same day. They give you a fair price offer, close quickly, and pay promptly.
Sounds like you'd recommend them.
I would recommend this company to anyone in a position of having to move quickly and with no hassle.
No hassle?
No hassle.
Whether you have a hard-to-sell home, want a stress-free sale, or simply need to sell your home fast, Grandview Homes is the name you know and the name you can trust. We buy every home as is, and you'll get a fair cash offer in just hours. Visit GrandviewHomes.com to discover the easiest and fastest way to sell a home.
We didn't write the headline. The Wall Street Journal did. The days of set and forget investing just ended for many Americans. Economic uncertainty and global unrest. It's a wake-up call. Standard financial advice is to avoid making rash decisions during market turmoil. But retirement planning isn't a set it and forget it process anymore. That's where Annex Wealth Management comes in. As fee-only fiduciaries, we craft personalized plans that adapt as needed. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Head to AnnexWealth.com and click the Get Started button.
Sometimes when you walk into a business, you get that vibe that these people really got this thing nailed down. That's exactly the vibe I got when I bought my SUV at Holiday Mazda. The Holiday staff, completely focused and professional, but also relaxed and upbeat and genuinely friendly. Best experience I've ever had buying a vehicle. I loved it, and you know what? So will you. Hey, it's Jerry Bott, and I drive Holiday.
Gear up, get more, and drive inspired this spring and beyond in a new Mazda from Holiday in Fond du Lac. Get our low simplified price, more for your trade, and score money-saving offers like 2.9% 5-year financing on Mazda crossovers and SUVs, plus an extra $500 spring bonus cash on new 2025s. Save even more if you or someone in your household already drives Mazda. Connect with us for qualifying details and enjoy the award-winning care of Wisconsin's #1. Find yours and drive it home today from Holiday Mazda, Highway 41 and 23 Fond du Lac, and holidaymazda.com.
It's worth the trip.
Academic Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
Don't settle for a flimsy bank pre-approval. Get the pre-approval listing agents and sellers recognized as better than the rest. The rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval from AccuNet. Get yours by clicking on the blue button at ACCUNET.com.
Imagine your home totally organized. At Closets by Design, we specialize in providing affordable, custom-built storage solutions with built-ins and beyond. From walk-in closets to entertainment centers, our experienced designers work within your budget to design a solution fit perfectly to your needs. Get 40% off plus an additional 15% with 18-month financing. Visit closetsbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN to get started. Let's get organized together.
Springtime DIY is in full bloom at Fleet Farm. 3-pound bags of Superior grass seed are on sale for just $9.99. 32-pound bags of Superior wheat and feed are sale priced at $19.99. Plus, buy an M18 5-amp rechargeable battery starter kit and get a select Milwaukee Bear tool for free. In-store only. Indoor, outdoor. Handle all your DIY needs at the best prices guaranteed at Fleet Farm.
When it comes to windows and doors, your clear choice for more is Lisbon Storm Screen and Door. Just north of North Avenue at 50th and Lisbon, or at lisbonstorm.com.
Your clear choice for more, Lisbon Storm Screen and Door.
For safe, purified water right from your faucet, the solution is crystal clear.
Any project, big or small, when it comes to water, one call does it all. S&K, pump and plumbing.
The Rocket Man has landed on iHeartRadio.
Hi, this is Elton John, and this is iHeart's Elton John Radio.
Every hit, every deep cut, and the behind-the-scenes stories from Sir Elton himself.
It became my first ever hit.
From the anthems that made history
I hope you don't mind.
to Elton's own picks, all commercial-free, including his new song with Brandi Carlile, the soundtrack of a legend. Search Elton John Radio on your iHeart app to listen now.
Every 30 seconds, another child is taken and falls victim to trafficking. They are stolen, exploited, and silenced. But we can all fight back. Join us on May 3rd at the Oconomowoc Lake Club for Off to the Races, a Kentucky Derby Gala, supported by Light Their Way. Your ticket, your donation, your voice can help rescue and protect these children. Stand up. Act now. Get your tickets at lighttheirway.com and help us race toward a future free from child trafficking. Because every child deserves freedom, but time is running out.
Once again, it is a very rare thing that you will get me to not take a side on an issue or really not have a strong opinion on something that really does impact all of us. I guess I would lean towards, since I haven't been convinced very strongly to change what we're doing right now, I would lean very slightly towards keeping things the way they are now with springing ahead and falling behind. I am sure you'll have more opportunities to convince me. We'll discuss this further if, in fact, that bill does pass. President Trump today did signal his willingness to potentially sign a bill to make daylight saving time permanent. Right now, here on the Dan O'Donnell Show, it is almost quitting time, at least for me. Most of you have been off work for quite some time, but it's time on a sunny, beautiful Friday evening to throw away the cares of a workaday world, to focus instead of the serious on the silly, the strange, the stories of the past week that made us say... What did I do? Hold on. I don't know what the hell I even hit. Let's try this again. That was bizarre. I was going to grab my sheet of paper and my fist must have accidentally hit a button that it shouldn't have. Former Vice President, failed 2024 presidential candidate Kamala Harris is thinking about creating, wait for it, a think tank. The New York Times reported, citing Brian Nelson, a longtime aide to Harris, who has reached out to universities, including Stanford and Howard, to explore the prospect of hosting Harris's potential Institute for Policy and Ideas. Because if there is one thing we know about Kamala Harris, is that she thinks very deeply about policy and has tons of ideas. Harris was criticized throughout the campaign, of course, for running away from a host of left-wing policy positions and ideas she enthusiastically endorsed as a presidential candidate in the 2020 election cycle, as well as for not providing a whole lot of specifics about what her agenda would look like if she won the 2024 race. Moreover, what is she best known for when answering any question about policy or ideas? Her word salad answers, which I guess would be part of the curriculum at the new Kamala Harris Center for Kids Who Can't Think Good and Want to Do Other Stuff Good, too.
How bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre!
Well, the Chinese Communist Party is really sticking it to Trump. They are mocking him with AI-generated videos depicting Americans as overweight slobs working in sweatshops. Wait a second. Are they admitting that they are making all of their goods in sweatshops? China appeared to inadvertently admit that it forces its own people to slave away in sweatshops where workers make low wages for long hours under poor conditions by sharing AI-generated videos depicting Americans working in those exact conditions instead. The videos show AI-generated Americans, who the Chinese apparently believe all of whom are very much overweight, making products like Nike shoes while they drink soda and eat potato chips, which of course is a total fiction. Everybody knows the Chinese don't allow their workers to eat or drink.
How bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre!
For my money, the funniest moment in media all week, Anderson Cooper had to be corrected during CNN's Bernie Sanders town hall for using the pronoun she when tossing to an obvious woman who was asking Bernie a question.
With Senator Bernie Sanders. I want to introduce Grace Thomas. She's a local civil rights attorney. She's a Democrat. Grace?
Say them pronouns, actually. Thank you. Oh. Do you mean Senator Sanders?
I can tell you, if I ever get a chance, if Anderson Cooper is ever like hawking a book and they put him on a press tour not realizing what kind of show this is, I am going to set him up so he has to say pronouns. So actually, Anderson, It's Zers. The funniest part about that whole clip, and I realize we can't on radio convey this, is Bernie's face. When he goes from inquisitively waiting for her to ask the question to angry. It's like a mix of anger and he's crestfallen. Like, oh, we got to deal with these people again.
How bizarre. How bizarre. How bizarre.
Finally, this week, a Minecraft movie is an absolute box office phenomenon. It is dominating heading into its second weekend in theaters, but there are widespread reports of disorderly conduct as teenage boys flock to theaters and act out trends circulating on social media. The videos include moviegoers filming themselves throwing popcorn and other food and drink items, and in one instance, being kicked out for bringing a live chicken to a showing, per the Hollywood Reporter. The behavior has led to warnings from theaters about conduct, including threats of involving law enforcement. One New Jersey theater even forbade anyone under 18 from attending any showings without an adult present, despite the fact that the film is rated PG. So what is causing teenagers to absolutely lose their ever-loving minds and throw popcorn and start screaming and even bring a live chicken into the theater? Well, it is one scene involving a chicken jockey, which is a little baby zombie riding on a Minecraft chicken. Jack Black's character Steve yells out "chicken jockey" when a baby zombie appears on screen riding a chicken like a horse. This precedes Jason Momoa's character Garrett the Garbage Man Garrison fighting the zombie. And this moment has been inspiring moviegoers to shout the line while jumping on theater seats, screaming and throwing popcorn. That, according to the New York Post. Okay, if the popcorn throwing thing, because it takes a while, the poor 17-year-old who's got to clean up that theater, I get that, I dig that, but come on. Is there any more innocent thing than a bunch of kids going together, having fun? It's sort of like the Rocky Horror Picture Show for people who aren't 70 years old. I condone it, but kids, stop throwing the popcorn. You know what? These kids could be doing far worse, okay? Instead of going, and having wholesome fun. Like, think about it. They could be going to see the Snow White movie. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been your weekly look back at the strangest stories of the past 7 days here on the Dan O'Donnell Show in a very popular segment we call...
How bizarre! How bizarre! How bizarre!
From the Lynch Chevrolet of Kenosha Total Traffic Center.
Northbound 43 tied up from Brown to Keefe Avenue. Southbound is cleared out, though. 94 with eastbound delays. Moreland to Brookfield and from the Zoo to 35th. The westbound side slowed 25th to Mitchell Boulevard. I'm Mike Priest, and that's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by the Lynch Automotive family of dealerships.
For over 65 years, the Lynch family of dealerships has been more than just a car dealership. Starting in 1957, we've treated our customers like family from day one. Start your car buying journey today at shoplynch.com.
So the Donahos invited us to dinner.
Hang on, honey. Hello?
Hi, this is Lori from First American Bank.
Whoa, honey, it's the bank. Listen to how real this AI voice sounds.
Hello?
Yes, hello. I'm calling about your First American Bank home equity line of credit application.
That is free.
Right? What do I press for representative?
Oh, you don't press anything. I'm a real person.
Now it's claiming to be a real person.
Wow.
Sir, along with First American Bank's best loan deals in town, we pride ourselves on providing impeccable personal service. That's why you get me, a real-life specialist, to help you every step of the way with your loan. Isn't that more useful than passing you off to an artificial intelligence chatbot?
What's 2 times 2?
4.
Who created the Dewey Decimal System?
Melville Dewey.
Limburger sandwich or cheese curds?
Oh, you're not dragging me into that one.
First American Bank, the bank that does more for your money. Visit firstambank.com.
or call us at 262-577-2400. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
I'm Larry Brinkman, president of Dornbrook Construction. Dornbrook Construction has installed concrete in every industrial and commercial setting from the Milwaukee Airport to Campbell's Soup. From big shots in manufacturing and industry, locally as well as the up-and-coming businesses in southeastern Wisconsin. Big business chooses Dornbrook because they know Dornbrook is ACI certified, fully licensed, insured, and bonded. And they know for 25 years, Dornbrook stands behind every square foot of concrete we install. Little businesses choose Dornbrook for all those reasons and also because they can afford to choose Dornbrook. Dornbrook is industry's choice for commercial concrete because we do perfect business efficiency-minded preparation and installation on every job. We know you aren't closing your business to have concrete work done. 25 years of experience ensures your loading dock or dumpster pad or machine base or huge flat concrete job isn't our first go-around. Standing behind the concrete Wisconsin businesses and residents stand on, Dornbrook Construction. DornbrookConstruction.com. 414-333-0642.
Josh from Infinity here. The exterior remodeling industry is notorious for wild price disparities and hidden costs. Infinity has revolutionized the exterior remodeling experience. Our custom-built app is your window into our world of clear, accurate pricing.
MJ here. No more guesswork. No more unpleasant surprises. Every detail, all materials are clear for you to see. Absolute pricing transparency makes Infinity the most trusted roofing and exterior remodeling company in the Midwest.
We built Infinity on a foundation of integrity. More than installing roofs, siding, and windows, Infinity installs peace of mind, building lifelong relationships with our customers.
Infinity's proprietary app is an extension of our commitment, providing exact line item pricing, something unheard of in roofing and exterior remodeling.
Infinity's unmatched buying power saves you money. We pay less, you pay less. Infinity provides multiple budget options real time. Everything is at your fingertips, including financing options before we leave your home.
Warranted, guaranteed quality. Installing peace of mind. InfinityRoofing.com.
Love your home, but not your blinds? If your window treatments are broken, hard to use, or just outdated, it's time to upgrade. For nearly 100 years, Baby Shade and Blind has been helping families like yours find the perfect window treatments. Beautiful, easy to use, and built to last. No more broken blinds, no more hassle, just stylish shades, blinds, and drapery that make your home shine. Learn more at babyshade.com, sharing a little sunshine from our family to yours.
Here's why money Warshevsky.
Charitable contributions or donations can help taxpayers receive some deductions. I'm Hillary Barsky with your Fox Business Tax Tip coming up.
It's time to take the quiz. 5 questions, 5 minutes a day, 5 days a week.
Take the quiz every weekday at thequiz.fox and then listen to the quiz podcast to find out how you did.
Play, share, and of course, listen to the quiz at thequiz.fox.
Charitable donations are one of the few areas where many people can receive some tax benefits. CPA and tax attorney Alan J. Strauss.
If you itemize your deductions, you can claim your charitable deductions up to 60% of your adjusted gross income.
Charity is one of the few categories where Strauss says you can get an immediate tax break.
Taxes have a $10,000 cap on them, and medical expenses have a floor amount.
Donations $250 or more, you need a copy of the canceled check or credit card receipt and an acknowledgement from the receiving organization. Hillary Barsky, Fox News.
Just a couple more minutes left here on the Dan O'Donnell Show before we take a 2-day break. Don't worry, we will be back Monday afternoon right here on the Dan O'Donnell Show for another busy broadcast week. Already thinking about what we are going to bring to you. I've got a couple of stories that I have been working on that hopefully we'll be able to get on the air over the next couple of days. The Masters, I want to update you on the scoreboard. Again, if you were taping it, just kind of turn down the radio for a little bit. Not a whole lot of movement. Justin Rose still leading. Only a couple of golfers are still on the course. Scotty Scheffler is one of them. He's on 17. He is 2 under today, and he is at 6 under. Biggest mover was Rory McIlroy, who was at even par yesterday. He shoots a 6 under 66 in the second round today. He is now tied with Scheffler and Corey Connors, a golfer out of Canada, at third place. Bryson DeChambeau is at 7 under, all following the leader, Justin Rose, who followed a blistering 65 during the first round yesterday. He was just on fire. He shoots 1 under 71 today. Jason Day, Victor Hovland, Shane Lowry, Colin Morikawa, Patrick Reed, Xander Schauffele, Tommy Fleetwood, all kind of hanging around. Bubba Watson's at 1 under. The projected cut is, do we have that, Paul? Freddie Couples was up there, and we kind of remarked on him yesterday. Unfortunately, he's shooting 5 over today. He finished his day at 77, so he's 4 over for the tournament. He is going to be cut. Projected cut is now 2 over. And notables that are going to be cut, I wanted to see Bernhard Longer. This is actually going to be his last Masters. Wasn't able to make the cut. At least it doesn't look like he's going to be able to. Dustin Johnson looks like he's going to be cut. Sergio Garcia, Adam Scott, Brooks Koepka, Phil Mickelson, both at 5 over. Yeah, Jordan Spieth is right there at 1 over. He is through 17, so he's right on that cut line. It is going to be an incredibly fun weekend. The Brewers have a weekend series against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Hopefully a chance to get, I don't want to say off the schneid, because, look, this is a 500 team. There are going to be ups. There are going to be downs. Just catch the Cubs. That's all we really care about, Paul. Great point. Have a wonderful and safe weekend, everybody. Dan O'Donnell Show returns 3:06 Monday afternoon.